My life was always constant chaos, and I was so broken, and I was just grappling at something, and all you can think about is that fix. Feeling that like, I would sell everything in my house. I would steal shit. I didn't care what I had to do. You are so physically dependent on it. It was just everything to me. And that first hit you'd get, and then you just kept chasing it more and more and more. Just chaos. You couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. I loved getting high.
Damn.
Let God guide our words today.
Oh man, is he?
Yeah.
This is, I've been really looking forward to having this conversation with you. I saw you on a good buddy of mine, Matt Sidwell, Rain Brings Growth podcast. He was a guest. He's actually one of the only guests that's ever been demonetized because of his childhood trauma and talking about it on our platform.
Oh, wow.
But incredible dude. I saw him on your show and
He's
he was like,
awesome.
dude, you need to have Nicole on and sit down and have this conversation. And then once I started digging into you, we have a conversation ahead of us for a lot of reasons. One, you grew up a pastor's kid.
Sure did.
Had this perfect looking life.
Yeah.
And ended up finding yourself getting into pills, which led to a meth heroin addiction that consumed your life.
Completely.
You ended up losing your custody of a child.
Mm-hmm.
You ended up homeless. You ended up living on the streets. You ended up incarcerated and battling this for many, many years. And I've seen your photos and it's absolutely terrifying at the point that you're at. You ended up eventually, body started shutting down because of the amount of drug use and abuse. Yeah. Where you were down to 85 pounds, your lungs were failing. You ended up in the hospital. You go through this whole entire recovery. You come out of this addiction and almost find yourself in an alcohol, sugar, methadone addictions afterward that you didn't even realize you're stepping into. Now, as of today, you have custody of your daughter back. You're remarried. You have an incredible family that you started. You have found your faith. And now you're helping women through fitness and finding themselves in this incredible journey that you've been on. And I fucking love these conversations because so many people in your situations don't know how. They always question, if God was real or if there was God, why would they allow me to live like this? Why would they allow me to go through what I went through? And you're the prime example of being able to turn that around into such a success story and now be able to share your story and help women and all these other people along your journey. So we have a really great conversation ahead of us. So Nicole, before we get started, we're going to get you a fresh baked sourdough loaf. We are actually about to drop some really good flavors. So this is, who doesn't love carbs? So we're going to send you home with a fresh baked sourdough loaf. We're going to be dropping some new flavors really soon. This is a really cool company that we started as a homeschool project for our youngest, and it just grew into a business.
I love it.
Then I'm going to send you home some ladies wild
love gear.
Wild chaos teas that I don't get to give out very often.
No?
No.
I love it.
We're going to do
I love
this.
t-shirts. Well, promo gear's the best.
I got you. Okay, Nicole, who are you? Where are you from?
Nicole Duke, formerly Nicole Johnson. Everybody calls me Nikki. My family's originally from California, but we moved to Idaho in 99. So I pretty much grew up in the Nampa area and went to school out there. We still live out there. It's kind of ironic. My daughter is now going to the same schools I went to.
How's that?
Weird. It's okay. Yeah.
Are some of the teachers still there? Or, Oh, are they? Okay. I dealt with that with my dad.
It's weird. We did a walkthrough at the middle school a few weeks ago. And, when you're a kid, everything looks so big and overwhelming. And then you go back as an adult and you're like, wow, this is depressing.
This place is a prison.
Yeah. It is a prison. It does look like a prison. I'm like, we have lockers just like that. That's sketchy. Yeah. Same food, same lockers. Yeah, it's depressing.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That is.
Yeah.
So how was childhood growing up for you?
I am the youngest of three. I have two older brothers, 13 and 7 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was at the end of the line, kind of like a whoopsie baby. So also the youngest and only girl out of all the cousins. So I was kind of raised around like a group of just older boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this almost like a forgotten baby syndrome where the parents have all done their time and now you're the only girl, or was the opposite, that you were the baby girl and you were spoiled?
I was spoiled.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
admit that one now.
Okay.
I used to argue with my brothers. No, I'm not spoiled, but I was probably definitely spoiled. My parents were in their 40s when they had me.
Oh, okay.
And so my dad was 45 and my mom was 40. And, you know, by the time they had me, my oldest brother was like almost 13. And so they were already, as I was turning into a toddler, they were going into their teenage years.
Yep.
So my youngest brother is 7 years older than me, and we're the closest in age out of everyone. So all of them were even older than him.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of just got toddled around with all of these teenage boys growing up. And that puts a complex on you
How
as a
so?
little girl. They were running and gunning by the time I was just kind of like getting old enough to become aware of what they were doing.
Running and gunning as in like the streets?
In the streets.
Okay.
Yeah. And so because my parents were older and we came from like a lower middle class family, they were working all the time. And if they weren't working, they were doing stuff for the church. My parents are apostolic Pentecostal, and my dad did home missions. And so they were always trying to like build a church and bring people into the church, and, you know, lots of prayer meetings and Bible studies, and a lot of their focus was on that, and kind of left us kids to our own demise.
Oh, okay.
A lot of time on your hands, which they say idle hands are the devil's playground.
Yep.
For sure.
Okay, so you're a prime example of this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So so with, you know, you have this pack of older boys in their early to late teen years.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the closest 7 years behind the youngest of those boys.
Yeah.
So now you're being exposed to all types of things.
Yeah. That no little girl should be.
Like what? What did they start introducing you to, and how was it being introduced?
I just was very aware of my brothers. Kind of had this thing about them of like a respect. They just have this natural aura of demanding, and they're big boys. They're 6'3", 6'2", big old boys, and people just show them respect just naturally. And in that environment, they were just known as someone you don't mess with. And I ran around with them. And because my oldest brother kind of was like my babysitter all the time, he kind of just had to watch me, was almost a father figure in a lot of ways. And I would watch them sell drugs and manipulate women and go to these trap houses and pull guns on people, and this crazy fast lifestyle. I don't know how many times cops were at our door searching their cars, get, you know, in and out of jail. I see my brothers on, my mom and I one time seen my brother on the front page of a newspaper, didn't even know he was in jail, and seen him on the front page of a newspaper over at the Karcher Mall, like when they had newspaper stands still. Just all these crazy things. My oldest brother did, I want to say it was like 10 to 12 years down in the California prison system.
Oh, shit.
And he was in and out from the time he was like 17. So exposed to jails and prisons at a very young age from going to visit them.
So this is life, this chaos.
Normal.
Police interactions, just running and gunning, like you said. That's just life. That's all you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was almost idolized.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Because it was cool. Because my parents were kind of, on the other hand, like really boring, right? Because they're church, and all they would talk about is God this, God that, God this. And it was almost like shoved down our throats in a sense.
You got God bombed.
Very much so.
So then when you start pushing away.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's just, that's kind of what we got suffocated with. And they wouldn't let us do anything else, which I say this a lot, especially as a parent today. You do the best with what you know as a parent at the time, right? And so they made mistakes, but they were doing the best they knew with what they had, and they thought that was the best way to raise us. And so it was just church and God was shoved down our throats so much. We weren't allowed to play sports, and, you know, we couldn't hang out with other kids if they weren't in church, our specific church.
Everything's satanic.
Yeah,
Everything's from the devil.
Of the devil.
Yep.
You know, we looked different because Apostolic Pentecostals, the women don't cut their hair, they wear dresses, we don't watch TV. You know, it's all these like normal things that kids do, like, you know, go to a bowling alley or go to the movies or go to the skating rink. You're not allowed to do any of that. You can't play sports. We had no outlet.
Yeah.
And so it pushes you to the other extreme. Because, okay, well, I'm going to go hang out with these kids. So I'm going to go do this. My parents aren't around. I'm just going to go run around. And especially when you have older siblings and cousins who are doing those things, and that's the primary influence in your life when your parents aren't around, that kind of becomes the path that you take, and it becomes idolized because this is fun and exciting, you know?
Freedom.
Yeah.
Not getting preached at 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You got to just
that.
run around and do what you want. And I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. And they kind of idolized it that way. And I would see the repercussions of the decisions they made, like going to jail and going to prison and being unhealthy and losing things and wrecking cars and getting in fights and the violence and constant arguing with my parents, right? I would see it all the time, all the conflict, just chaos. And it was still not enough for me to be like, man, I don't want to do that. You know, instead, my brain idolized it and was like, that's what I want to be.
Well, that's who you're spending your time with.
Yeah.
Is your dad involved? Are you a daddy's girl, or what was his influence in your life? Because obviously that's a huge role. Your dad's involved in your life, or is he more focused on the church?
Yeah.
Just trying to provide, doing what he could. And then because you mentioned that your older brother was your role, almost a father figure to you. So you're obviously, there's a lot of mental.
Yeah. Almost daddy issues.
There's a lot that goes on in a young girl, especially as you're growing and looking for those male figures. So now that that's why I ask if your dad, how involved he was, because if your brother's filling that role, then that's who you're idolizing. And that's, so no matter who your parents are saying what to do and don't,
right?
You're just, well, my brother's doing this, and you're spending more time with him. That's your influence.
Well, that's who was kind of raising me. Because my parents worked so much. My dad always worked like 2 or 3 jobs. He was always not home. And then when he was home, he was focused on church. My dad had polio as a kid and got into a car accident that broke his hip. And so he was physically handicapped my whole life. And so he never really like got out and did much. And so if I did get out and do anything with my parents, it was either like something for the church, or me and my mom would every once in a while go do stuff.
Okay.
And my dad and I just weren't super close. I loved him, and I know my dad loved me, and my dad would let me get away with a lot more. Me and my mom bucked heads really bad.
Okay.
Because probably we're so much alike. And so we just would constantly fight. And growing up, everybody was so much older than me. Our house was chaos, man. And everybody would leave. And so my dad would leave the house. If my mom was on a tangent and stuff was going on and there was tension, my dad would take a drive, my brothers would dip, and then I'm stuck there, and me and my mom would just butt heads. And it was really hard. And I, again, think I idolized my brothers even more so because my dad didn't really do anything, right? And he never had like a strong career. He was always job hopping. He's physically incapable of like getting up and doing things. And so I watched my mom, in a sense, almost be a provider and man of the house. Okay. And that also gives you a complex as a little girl, because not only do I have these older brothers who are raising me kind of like a boy, right?
For sure.
They're not raising me to be a girl. And then I have this mom who just handles everything around the house and, you know, is the more dominant in a sense in the household. And so it raises you with a complex to be this independent, I've got this female, you know.
Which doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
I'm a big advocate on this whole, I'm a giant anti-feminist.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Time.
No, yeah.
I think it's ruining women because
it's ridiculous.
I am woman, hear me roar. I could do everything a man can do. And it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you probably can. Can you control your home? Can you talk down to your husband? Yeah, but how long does that last?
Yeah.
Because that's not our biological
God
DNA.
didn't create us.
It's not how we were created to be able to do that. You have to be evenly yoked with your partner. But that's where it also falls in for men being able to step up into that role in their home so the wives don't have to. You should not give the woman or force the woman to step in those roles because it's not healthy. And
it's not healthy.
And homes aren't run properly like that because that's not how we were created. And it's not. And I get attacked on it sometimes because people are, women could do everything. It's like, yeah, I'm a girl dad, and I tell my daughters they could do everything they can, but there's roles for women. Yeah. There's roles for men. And when we start crossing those, when our parents, especially now, this is why I'm so against it nowadays, because I see so many of these moms that step on their husbands, that step on the fathers of the homes.
Yeah.
Don't let them correct their children. Yep. They're the ones telling. But at the same time, it's a lot of these dudes' faults for allowing it to get to that point because they're not taking the initiative.
Because they're betas. Yeah.
Exactly. Marriage has never worked. And you're going to be 15, 20 years into your relationship or marriage and you're miserable.
Yeah, it's broken. The system's broken. That's a huge thing for me. I actually posted a video the other day about my husband. We were doing a workout in the garage and he is huge into fitness and he sets so many examples for our family and he is furthering his career and he just got a Harley. He's super excited about it. I'm excited for him. And I just watch him, you know, take on all of these goals and hit all these goals and set these examples and kind of like steer our family. And I think he does it. He doesn't even realize it sometimes what he's doing. And I stopped in the middle of our workout and I looked at him and I said, thank you for setting the examples that you do because I get to be strong into fitness and take care of my health. And I get to, you know, go ride motorcycles and I get to do this and that because my husband sets those examples because I chose wisely.
And what that does to a husband inside of us, it's almost you take this cup of
you guys need that.
And you throw it on this little fire that we have inside of us. It's not that we need reassurance or to be told, but when wife goes, but we do. Yeah. But when a wife goes out of their way, yes, that's how you keep your husband engaged. That's how you keep that relationship and that fire burning between each other because that dude's going to do everything for you now because you gave him that little bit of a compliment instead of I wish you need to be you need to take more initiative that instead of the conversation. But now
beating him up.
And even if he does need those little bit of ask, you know, hey, why need you? But it's those little compliments. And then, man, that just standing next to my wife working out. My wife did the same thing. When I started this 90-day transformation and went through a thing, just me going to the gym, guess who's next to me now? Yeah. And now she's going. Now I give her little compliments and then that's motivating her and she does it to me. And it's just a snowball effect. It's
the natural way God created us is for the man to lead and the wife and children follow. And that's how it should be. And so when you are raised in a family where either the man is not leading the right path, where I guess you could say my brother, right, was not leading me down the right path, or my dad wasn't doing the leading he should have been, you know, and
the whole family can feel it.
Yes. And it just breaks down the chain. And we have kids and that's a huge thing for me is what example is my husband setting for my daughter? You know, what example is she going to grow up and be like, I want a man like that? Because I know he takes care of my mom. Yep. And he does these things for me as a child. And so I just pray to God someday that she grows up. And actually this morning, my husband made a comment to her and he goes, I hope that she's just a little 5 foot nothing and she's done growing. Love. She is a cute little Snickers package. And he goes, Loa, I hope that someday when you find a man, and I said, what, he just loves every bit of her because she's just a tiny little thing? He goes, yes, I sure do. And my daughter goes, well, let's hope so because he's going to have to put up with what you put up with, mom, or something like that. I was like, oh, okay, thanks.
You throw you under the bus.
Yeah. I was like, that's fair. At least she knows she has my personality. But it is. And when, with her, I didn't have the best examples for her when I was dating when she was younger. And I'm thankful that I have the husband I have today that sets the examples he does for her. And girls need that when 100%. They're little. Because when you grow up without, as much as it's important to have a mother who shows you how to be a woman, I would almost say it's 10 times more important to have a father figure and a good male role model as a female.
I agree with you. And it's hard for, as a man, I'll get the look like, well, what does this guy know, right? The typical internet shit.
You have daughters.
But I have daughters. And I truly feel the dad is more important than the mom's role.
Yeah.
Because you look at it, I saw a video the other day, it was the most real shit I've ever seen. They're like, you ever want to know who a daughter is? Look at the mother. If she's ratchet in the streets, so's the mother.
Absolutely.
If she's got attitude, talking shit to everybody, what's the mother? If she's full of life and grace and loving, look at the mother.
Yes.
But as the father, we're the ones setting the tempo. They're going to know how a man's supposed to treat them. We teach their morals. We teach their values, their self-worth all come from the dad. And that's why we need this equal balance. Because if you're, as a man, if I'm dating some ratchet or married some ratchet ass chick and that's their role model as a mother, that's what your daughters are going to grow up to. But we want to blame fathers for all these daddy issues. Granted, we carry a lot. I think we carry more, but the personality, the little traits, all that stuff, I think a lot of it comes from the moms.
Yeah.
But as far as internally and what these young girls are growing into falls on us as dads. And that's why it's so important for these moms and dads, even if they're not together, to be evenly yoked on their parenting skills.
Yes.
To have the same boundaries. There's no good cop, bad cop. We're all equal.
Yeah.
Like my kids, they screw up with one, they're screwed up across the board.
We're united.
There's no, dad, mom's mad at me. I mean, I let him get away with some shit.
He does too.
You have that natural shit. Like, I'll talk to mom. I'll talk to her. But, it's one of those. But, you got to have that. But with serious things.
That bond, though.
100%. Those are like, don't I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But there's serious situations or we agree on things. And like dating is a hot topic in our house right now. And so we come together on that type of stuff. But you're so right. It's like as a dad in that young age. And I give your husband a lot of props to be able to step up into a role. It's not easy.
No.
One, I couldn't even imagine the dating world these days, but then to now take a woman on that has a child and to step into that role as a father is a huge.
Yes.
I give any dad huge props that step into that role and taking on another child to raise them as theirs and to set the example, the loving, the nurturing, opening doors for the mom. I mean, dude, I grope my wife all day long.
It's good for him to see that.
I'm grabbing her butt. I kiss. I hold. But I want my daughters to look at that and be like, that's what I want. That's love. That's affection.
Yeah.
And so when they go into these relationships and the dude's fucking weird.
Set those standards high.
You have to. Yeah. I think I might have, we've talked about it. I might have fucked up, set them too high.
That's okay.
My oldest like, I just want what you and dad have. I want what you and mom have. We're like, it takes time and a lot of failing, a lot of talking, and a lot of hard conversations to build that bond.
You go through seasons.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. You go through a lot of seasons, and it's your relationship and your marriage isn't always rainbows and butterflies. And that's hard when you have kids watching you.
Absolutely.
And every move you make. And I just went through postpartum, and that's a rough one on a marriage, man. And my daughter had to watch us go through it. And I'm finally, our little one's 10 months, I'm finally coming out on the end where I'm starting to feel like myself again. And we're getting into a routine, and the baby's older. But man, it still has moments where
that's
it's
just terrifying. And then us as men, we can't even figure out your guys' cycle,
oh my gosh,
your periods, let alone even comprehend postpartum
my
and this
husband
chemical
thought I was
imbalance.
psychotic.
It's almost like a premenopause shit where you just switch one day and everything's off.
Your hormones are everywhere. Before I got pregnant, and he was planned, but before I got pregnant was the first time in my life I had gone and done my labs, and I was in great shape and my hormones were balanced. I was on TRT, and I felt the best I'd ever felt in my life. I was like thriving. My husband and I, and this is all personal, but I'll put this out there. My husband and I were finally getting like our sex life back.
Yep.
And we like loved each other and craved each other, and our fitness was good and our health was good and all these things. And then I got pregnant, And not only do you hit like the first wave of hormones from pregnancy, I had a cold turkey TRT and I just got dumped on hormones and I was a mess. And I
didn't even think of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever just stopped taking, I don't know if you're on testosterone, but
I've run it a lot in the past, but yeah.
That ever is like on it. Usually if you're gonna get off of it
takes a long taper.
You cycle off of it, right? You taper off of it. You don't just stop taking it because it will affect, you'll get a hormone dump.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And your energy and everything. And
so you're getting a hormone dump and a hormone spike with your whole entire pregnancy and body changing overnight.
Oh my gosh. Crazy.
Yeah, good luck. Buckle up for that one. But you probably aren't even processing that. Like, okay, maybe you were because you're getting in. I don't know how deep into your fitness you were.
Eventually, I think it kind of clicked. I was like, man, I think this is what's going on. But it doesn't make it any easier to try to like control your hormones and your emotions and everything. The body changes when you go from being like the healthiest and in the best shape I'd ever been in to being pregnant.
That was my wife.
Oh my gosh, I was frustrated.
She was like ready to step on stage, and then we found out with our youngest, and she's like, "This is done." So all right, let's get into this. So now we got to know a little bit about you and your family. When were you introduced to drugs, and what type of drug was it?
Well, so I'd always been around drugs. My family, cousins, aunts, uncles were all heroin addicts. And then my brothers did a lot of meth. And so they always sold drugs. I was always exposed to it. I was around it. And there was always this stigma on heroin addicts. And it kind of came from my brothers. It was like, they're fucking junkies. And it was almost like they were superior because they did meth, as ridiculous as this sounds. They were superior because they did meth and they weren't a heroin junkie. Because it's almost like when you're a heroin addict, you're like bottom of the scum, right? But on like meth, you are high functioning and you're just go, right? But then you have the heroin addicts who are like knotted out and just like you're just a lump on a log. You're good for nothing.
That's funny you say that. I've never looked at that as there's a pecking order of drug addiction.
They seem to think so, right? I think it's all bullshit. But
you're like, I do coke actually. These fentanyl users.
That's a whole nother one.
Yeah, they're like the top tier drug users.
Coke is like the elite. Yeah, you got money to spend on drugs. Yeah, you're not doing the bathroom shit. So you get grade A quality.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, the cousins and the aunts and uncles were just heroin junkies. Like, we don't fuck with them because they're fucking junkies. Well, so I was exposed to all of it. And I am not one, like, I don't need huge adrenaline rushes. So uppers just put me on a whole nother level. And when I slowly creeped into using them, I started out like everybody else smoking weed.
Okay.
And my brothers actually weren't the ones who introduced me to like using them, right? They were, I was around it with them and I was exposed to it, but they never let me like use. And so I'll never forget one time we're in the car and my older brother's driving and I'm in the back seat with two of his friends and they're like passing a blunt around. And I was like maybe 7 or 8. And the dude made the mistake of trying to pass me the blunt and my brother lost his shit. Like almost smashed him out.
Really?
Lost his shit. Don't you ever fucking offer drugs to my little sister? Da, da, da. And it's like, sometimes I wonder what's going through your brain if you think it's appropriate for me to be exposed to it and be around it, but you didn't want me to use it. But you're using it. You're setting that example, right? And that's okay. What did you think was going to happen? And my brother's always drilled into my brain, you're a fucking savage. You're a fucking savage. That was like the mantra I was raised on, is you're a fucking savage. You don't have grace for anybody. You don't show anybody mercy. Everything is very black and white.
So they're just creating a hard shell for your whole life. You're just shutting off. And you
are not allowed to be soft. Like this is...
We don't cry. We don't know emotion. You're a man eater.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was raised to act like a man. And then as I grew into my early teens, my oldest brother was incarcerated, and my other brother was kind of here and there. We were never super close. And he got married, and her and I were really close, still are. And she, we partied. My brother was in a band, and so they partied a lot. And that's kind of when I started like drinking and smoking weed, and then kind of the pills started. I had some back injuries when I was younger, and so the painkillers were great. I loved the painkillers. I would get them as I become like introduced to them and used them. I was like, man, these are nice, because my back was all messed up. Had a garage door come down on it when I was a kid, and kind of like caused sciatica and like a crooked tailbone. And so the painkillers were awesome. Loved it. And I liked to party. And so then there was like the ecstasy and the Molly, and then there was the mushrooms, and I just liked all of it. It was great. I loved getting high.
So that's a big statement. Did your brothers pretty much bring you and educate you in the drug world, and then
how to sell, how to hustle?
Yeah. Oh, no shit. Even that far. And then now your oldest gets arrested, goes incarcerated. Your brother, your youngest, is now kind of starting his life. So now you just been pulled through this whole entire life of drugs, being surrounded by it. Now they're gone, and now you're finding your way and having your own friends and getting into your group.
Yeah.
So this isn't, when you're being presented to stuff, it's nothing new to you.
No.
Okay.
No. And my brother's group of friends kind of were partially responsible for introducing me to that, because as I was in like high school as a teenager, his house was party central. And so I hung out there all the time and did drugs with all of them.
So you're just growing up in a home full, or your whole life, everywhere you went, you're just surrounded by drugs.
Yeah, all the time.
What was the first time what'd you use first, meth or heroin?
So some of the ecstasy that I was using in high school was cut with meth.
Oh, okay.
And so that was my first exposure to like an upper like that, is it was cut with meth. And around that same time was when I started doing like oxys and opanas.
What's opana?
Opana is also an opiate that I don't even think they make them anymore, because it was awful. And so the oxys, I loved because you could smoke them. You can crush them and smoke them. And it was amazing. It was like the best thing I ever had done in my life.
Really?
Addicted from the first time I did it. Immediate.
What type of high is it?
Just like it's almost like a warm blanket covers you and you're just comfortable.
Okay.
Just peace. I thought it was peace.
Is that what you needed in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was constant just chaos. My life was always constant chaos.
Okay.
Whether I created it or it was brought into my life or whatever, everything was always just shaken up, and I always felt at conflict through my whole life because I knew better. My parents raised me in the church and I knew better. I knew I shouldn't be living like this, right? Like I had a strong faith. I knew God wasn't okay with what I was doing. And it was almost like I wanted to keep rebelling. I was so conflicted because I knew what I was doing wasn't right.
At any point, did your dad ever sit you down and just have a conversation with you about it?
My parents would try, but it usually turned into arguments.
Okay.
More so than just like conversations.
Okay. Do you think anything would have helped, or were you just so consumed by that world?
No, because I also, coming from their religious standards and being raised where like I couldn't do all of these things, you look different and you look set apart from everybody else. And so I was like a target, right? In elementary school, middle school, because I couldn't wear pants, I couldn't cut my hair, I couldn't play sports, I couldn't do everything else that everybody else was doing. A lot of teasing, a lot of bullying, right? So then it was like, well, fuck this. I wanted people to look at me and treat me the way I watched people treat my brothers, which I thought was respect. Now I see it as, I don't think it was respect. I think it was just manipulation and bullying and it's just sad.
Yeah.
Right. And I wanted people to listen to me. Like, if I tell you to do something, I want you to go fucking do it. You're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to disrespect me like that. And so I was like, fuck it. I rebelled and I started just like dressing the way I wanted and not following my parents' rules. Started behind their backs when I was in like middle school, and I'd get in fights all the time. And I just didn't want to be put in this box that my parents had put me in. And the drugs kind of came with that because I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
You know, I was running around doing what I wanted, like pulling into high school, smoking cigarettes because you think it looks cool because you're badass, right? And just talking shit all the time and the drugs give you a false confidence.
For sure.
I was so empty and I was so broken and I was just grappling at something.
Anything that made you feel something.
Yeah. And to try to figure out like who I was. I wanted to like be somebody that people were like, oh yeah, like that's, you know, that's this girl. Don't fuck with her.
So it was all image.
I wanted to be on a pedestal. Yes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, behind closed doors, oh my gosh, I was just scared. I was lost and I was broken, and the drugs filled a void. Kind of back to like the daddy issues is, you know, I think little girls need to be told that they're beautiful and that they're loved and hugged on and given, like, pour into their cup. And I wasn't raised like that. I was raised to be a man, and I was raised to be a savage, and I was just broken.
And that's what that gets you.
Yeah.
It might not be as a child, but it might be in your 20s and 30s, or where at some point in your life you fighting who you were created to be, this loving, nurturing, caring woman. Yeah. Instead, you're putting on a facade of being hard and
cold.
You're going to be my just
women aren't supposed to be like that.
No.
Women are
even men aren't. Nobody's supposed to be like that. It's
not
toxic.
To that extent.
It weighs on you.
No, and it's sad because you become really mean to people.
Yeah,
you know, you become a really shitty human, and I was just not a good human.
And then nobody wants to be around you. Then you're lonely, and then the cycle continues, and then you try to cope with the loneliness by doing more of whatever you're chasing. Yeah. And then it's just a cycle.
It's a vicious cycle. And when you're in your teens, and then you're also, you know, you're trying to, because you want the attention from boys at that point. So you're trying to look a certain way.
Yep.
Excuse me. I was starting dating, and all I had ever seen was toxic relationships, because even my parents' marriage, oh man, all they did was fight.
That's rough.
And watching my brothers just manipulate women and use them and just... And I was like, okay, but there was something that kind of like flipped in my head because of the way I had been raised. And I treated men like that. And so instead of like, initially when I first started dating, instead of letting men treat me like that, I treated guys like that. And I sought attention from boys so much. I would just like grasp on and hold on and make their life a living hell, because now I've got you in my claw. You're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Toxic.
Very.
I was a mess.
And then these dudes trying to run, and then now...
Oh, yeah, you're not going anywhere.
And then it just blows up.
It's crazy, yes. Yeah, and then you're on drugs. And then I would also... I had a high school boyfriend, and he stayed a part of my life through years. We became really close, and we dated for about 5 years. And I introduced him to drugs, and I introduced him to my brother and his friends, and he became an addict with me. And we kind of went through those teen years into our early 20s, right before I got pregnant with my daughter, just strung out on pills. And so we kind of went through the stage of the party drugs in high school into straight oxy addiction, and strung out on oxy, which is a synthetic heroin pretty much. Sure. It plays on the same receptors. We were a product of the opiate epidemic, and it was very prevalent here in the Treasure Valley.
Oh,
with
absolutely.
My generation. And we watched tons of kids we went to school with. Yeah, same crap. And we're getting it from these like older people who are getting scripts from doctors because the doctors were giving it out like candy. And so, you know, you're going and buying pills from these like old people and you're like hanging out with like 50, 60-year-olds who have scripts from doctors. And it was just weird, you know? But that was all you just craved it so much. And so your whole day was spent around, how can I get it? What can I do to get it? And then once you got it and you got your fix, what can I do to get more?
How old were you when that routine set in?
About 17.
Oh, shit. So you're deep.
Yeah.
You're deep in the pills at 17.
Yes, very much so. And so we left and we went to Oregon and thought we were going to get away from it. And we kind of found like bits and pieces of stuff here and there, started smoking a bunch of weed, you know, and then we came back and it got even worse and just spiraled. And I started doing meth a lot.
What was the first time you did meth? Do you remember?
No, I don't. I remember it being cut in like the ecstasy, and I remember it kind of like being around. I remember when I was about like 18, 19 is when it started just kind of being normal of meth being around when we were doing other drugs.
No shit.
Yeah. Super young.
Damn.
And meth is a whole nother demon next to opiates. Meth gives you a false confidence of what you are physically capable of. You just think you are like Superwoman on that shit.
No shit.
Yeah. All 5'3" of me thinking that I can just like smash people out. Grown men.
So, okay. So this is leading to a lot of bullshit in your life?
Yeah. Just fighting all the time. I lost everything. We came back and we were living with my parents for a while. And I just, you know, I always tried to stay working. I couldn't hold on to a job. But I'd kind of like work here and there. And I think this is where I started getting really deep into my oxy addiction. And around this time, I had met my daughter's dad when I was about 17. We had crossed paths and he was in a relationship. I was in a relationship. And then when my ex and I split up, his sister lived in the same apartments as I did. And I was over there using with her, and he came around because he had gone through a breakup. And a couple weeks later, I ended up pregnant with my daughter. And so it was not like we were dating, and it happened like we kind of were just messing around. And I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was in full-blown addiction.
Was there a point prior to this that you ever just took a step back and realized you were fully addicted to this, or did it take you becoming pregnant to realize how deep you were in?
I don't even think being pregnant made me realize how bad it was. Like that was just my life. So
even, hey, I'm pregnant wasn't the aha moment for you?
No.
And you were 18?
When I got pregnant, I was about 21 at this point. And I just like that again, like because of the way I had been raised, that was just normal. You know, that was my daily life. I didn't know how to get out of it. Everybody that I knew, that's what they did. Everybody used. And you know it's wrong. You want more. I knew that I was capable of more because I was always really smart and I did really well in school. And I had all these aspirations and I wanted to go to college and I wanted this life, and I just couldn't kick the drugs though. And at that point was when they had a physical hold on me. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was physically addicted to the opiates to where if I didn't have them, it hurt. And nobody wants to go through those withdrawals.
Okay.
It's miserable.
What are the withdrawals like?
Oh my God. You want to die. Like, you know, when you get the flu and you feel like clammy and icky and your body just aches. But behind that, just this like need to get high. The blanket moment, right? The blanket moment of feeling that like, because it's like a peace comes over you, like body, mentally, and you just relax. And so when you're in a come down and your nerves are on edge and your whole body feels like it just wants to crawl out of its skin and you're sweaty and you're clammy and you feel disgusting and all you can think about is that fix. You are so physically dependent on it.
And after going through withdrawals, it's still that deep and has its hooks in you that much that people just get right back into it.
Oh, yeah. Because even if you go on a 2-day like clean and you're like, hey, and you try to kick it. I don't know how many times I tried to kick it, right? It's like, hey, I'm not gonna use. And maybe you'd hit that like 24-hour wall and then someone would like text you back or something, right? And then you can go get some. You can go re-up and you're like, man, that sounds really good right now. Man, or you get clean for a little bit. I'd have little stints here and there, and then you're around it because you don't change the people you're hanging out with. You don't change the places that you're going. You don't find new activities or hobbies to keep you
away.
No. And so you're going back around the same environments. It's literal insanity, right? You're in this cycle and it pops up, it shows up, people text you, or you think you can make money off of it and you're trying to sell them and you're going to end up using. And it's just a vicious cycle. And everybody was doing it. Everybody was strung out on these pills. Everyone I knew was using pills and doing oxy.
And people, this is where it's terrifying for parents that are just not connected. I don't want to say ignorant on it because if you've lived a normal life,
uneducated on it. Yeah.
I don't know how many people I know that have grown up in $1 million families, perfect Christian homes.
Oh, yeah.
Scholarships, everything presented to them. And then they go through an injury, crash a bike, fall, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And they get on an oxy.
Easily.
They get on these methadone, whatever, these narcotics that they're giving them. My wife's cousin's a prime example, dude. This kid's broke almost every bone in his body from motocross and all that stuff. And dude, this whole life as a child, this kid's been surgeries. I mean, you look at x-rays, his whole body just bolts and plates and screws.
They'll throw them at you like candy. Or did. I think they're a little better about it these days.
Hopefully, but that's how quick your children can be pulled into an addiction because they went through something or a surgery, even adults.
Yes.
And then you get that fit, and then it's just before you know it, now you're like, okay, what is this feeling?
Yeah. Idaho's actually one of the worst states for their opiate prescriptions because, I guess, comparatively to other states that haven't legalized or have legalized marijuana, and Idaho doesn't have marijuana even medicinally, we have a higher percentage of opiate prescriptions comparatively to states that have at least medicinal marijuana use. And I find that interesting also because it can be used as a medicine if it's used correctly. And it's just interesting that such a conservative state would push opiates so hard on their doctors.
Boomers.
Oh, yeah. It's a fix.
I have people like, bro, you go so hard on boomers.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
I could drive 40 minutes, buy 10 pounds of weed in Oregon. All I want, I can max out my limit.
Yeah.
I could go to Arizona.
Yep.
I can go to Utah.
All around us.
But meanwhile, we're a red state. We're Republicans here.
It's crazy.
But you go to any dispensary on the border of our state, and there's not one Oregon plate in any of these parking lots.
Never.
But our opiate epidemic is higher than any state.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And
I'm a huge advocate. I'm a huge advocate of weed. I've watched so many vets. With their anger, with night terrors, pain issues, and they get on the THC, the butters, the edibles, the pens, whatever it may be.
Yes.
This is one of those things where I feel, and people are like, oh, the VA is such a great thing. I could go to the VA. They'll give me bags of pills, but that are going to help me not sleep, counter effect of this, side effect of this, take this pill because this pill may cause suicidal thoughts and tendencies, all the shit. But meanwhile, we can't just send these dudes like a pack of pre-rolls or some edibles.
Dude, go get some gummies. Like, seriously.
Take them at, that's what I was, and I wasn't ever a kid that got into weed. you know, I had my things as a child, but weed just wasn't my thing. I was an athlete. I didn't want to smoke.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until my later years and then starting a charity and working with these vets and watching these guys going from Ozzy Osbourne drooling on themselves where I'm learning their pill routines before taking them on trips. And then within a year, they get off of it and get onto the THC and they're completely normal. They're like, oh, dude, I just hit my pen when my back flares up. You know,
cool.
You're telling me that's worse than, oh, hey, here's a bunch of oxys, dude.
Yeah. Or the psych meds, all the psych meds that they'll prescribe you. That was something that was really interesting when I was incarcerated is, dude, every bitch in that place is on psych meds. They will hand it, man, oh, are you not feeling good? Oh, how do you feel? Well, and then it helps keep everybody like zombies.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Because then they can control you a little bit
Medically
better.
Controlled.
Well, that's my perspective on it. I think that they can control inmates a little better 100%. If you've got everybody high as shit on SSRIs. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Why the fuck is everybody walking around like zombies? These bitches are sleeping so hard. They're snoring like crazy. They're having vivid ass dreams. All the side effects from these SSRIs that they've got all these chicks on. It's insanity. Mm-hmm. And then you're the weird one because you're not in pill line every night or every morning. I'm like, I don't want on that stuff.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, because you have to go stand in a line.
Yeah, we'll get into this.
Yeah.
We'll get into this. We'll get into this.
Oh.
So
that one's crazy.
When was the first time that you knew that drugs had more of a hold on you and consumed your life rather than putting your daughter first?
My pregnancy. Yeah, I was aware of it. I had a friend who had gotten pregnant before I did with my daughter a couple years before I did. And I watched her use through her pregnancy. And I could never wrap my head around it. Like I didn't understand even while using, and I used with her. I couldn't understand why she couldn't stop. I'm like, girl, you're pregnant. What are we doing? Until I got pregnant. And then I was like, this is why. Because you're just so addicted. And it didn't help that I had no respect for my daughter's dad. And so even when he did kind of try to get me to quit.
Now you're rebelling.
Yeah, I would just laugh at him.
Did you use your whole entire pregnancy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was using an average of about 300 milligrams of oxy a day throughout my whole pregnancy.
So you're... Damn.
Yeah. Smoking it also, mind you, on foil. So it wasn't like I never IV used. I will clarify that. Throughout all my years of addiction, I never IV used. But there was something about the process of like smoking it on the foil that I was also addicted to. So not only was I physically addicted to the feeling from it, I was also addicted to the whole process of smoking it. And it was something about, man, that taste and that first hit you'd get, and then you just kept chasing it, and you just wanted more and more and more. And you couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. It was just everything to me. I would sell everything in my fucking house. I would steal shit. I didn't care what I had to do. I would take all the money, rent money, food money, bill money, whatever fucking money I had, I would spend every last dime. I would hustle and connive people to get that high. And then it became where oxy was just my life. Everything consumed around getting those pills. And so my daughter's dad and I finally had split. He had gone through a little bit of a relapse and came out of it. And I was on Suboxone actually for a while. And I kind of got clean. I was like doing okay. Started drinking a little bit through that stint also. Kicked the Suboxone. Also was going to some like counseling, and they tried putting me on SSRIs back then. Did those for a little bit. Didn't like the way they made me feel. Started smoking weed. And then I went into a stint. My daughter's like a toddler at this stage, where I start dating this guy and I start doing a bunch of coke and drinking all the time because those kind of go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And that was okay. because I wasn't using Oxy. So everybody was like proud of me, right? Like Nikki's doing good.
Clean. She's clean now.
She's clean. She's not on drugs. And through that time, I was holding down like 2 jobs and I was...
Did it feed your ego when people were like, oh, she's clean, she's clean?
Yeah.
But then now you know you're doing other things. So it's like, okay, I can... The Coke.
Yeah.
Okay, they're proud of me for being off the pills, but they don't know you're coked out all day long or all night, whatever it may be.
And drunk. I was drunk all the time. And I've always, for the most part, I've always worked in the service industry. And so drinking's like super normalized in the service industry. Everybody drinks all the time. And I went through that stint of just constant have a bottle of vodka with me everywhere I went. And my daughter's like a toddler. I also kind of stepped in and was helping take care of my niece at the time. And she was like 12 and she's just watching me be a wreck. And she was kind of around at the end of like when I was using pills. But I don't think she really knew what was going on. I think she was still young enough. She didn't know that that was a thing. And I had her a lot. And so her and my daughter seen me drunk all the time. And I go from being an alcoholic and hanging out with people I shouldn't hang out again because you make poor decisions and go around people who are using pills again. And I'm like, oh, well, we're going to start. And I always knew when I would go through these stints of like being clean and sobriety, I knew the people I shouldn't hang out with, right? People from my past, people who are still doing that. But you keep their phone numbers and you keep them on social media and you know where they hang out and you know how to get a hold of them. And so I would never fully cut those ties just in case, right? Just in case. I would never give it 100% of like, I'm fucking done because I was never fucking done.
Yep.
And so every once in a while I'd be like, oh, I can go use. I can be a weekend warrior. I can go just use on the weekend. Oh, it's Friday. I made really good money this week. My daughter's at her dad's house. I'm going to go get a couple Oxy. I'm just going to do a couple. And I mean, that lasted for a little bit until I was pretty close to being strung out on them again. I was not like fully dependent to where I couldn't function and like get out of bed and like go about life, but I definitely felt like shit if I didn't have them. And you know, by the afternoon I'd really want one to kind of make me feel better.
Have you been through this cycle enough to start catching those feelings?
Gosh,
or you're like, okay, cool, okay, I got to pull out at this moment? Or is the addiction just
it was never enough to like pull out? Because at that point I just was like, well, here we are.
Oh, it's scary.
I gotta keep using again. And I hated the Suboxone. The clinics are a shit, like fucking hated it. So the Suboxone, and maybe I wasn't giving it like enough effort also to let it really work how it should have. But I was like, this is fucking bullshit. I don't want to go to the Suboxone clinic. And at that point, I didn't even know. I knew about methadone, but I didn't really know about methadone. I just knew about the Suboxone. Because this was a cycle like everybody you used with did, right? It's almost like everybody would like, oh yeah, that person's not using right now. They're going to the Suboxone clinic. They got clean. They're getting clean. They're going to the Suboxone clinic. And so it was kind of like a thing, right? Everybody kind of cycled through these Suboxone clinics and stints of sobriety. And so I got back into it again. And it was like, what the fuck? And so I'm hanging out with a friend I shouldn't have been hanging out with. And I am at a bar one night with her and some friends. And this guy walks in that is one of my brother's friends. And I'd known him since I was a teenager. And he comes walking in. And I also always had this thing because I was just young enough when I was a teenager where like my brother's friends were just a little too old they were definitely too old for me to date, but they were young enough where I found them attractive. Okay. Right? It's like, oh, he's good looking because I was in my teens, they're in their late 20s, you know, oh, he's good looking. Well, now when you're in your early 20s and they're in their like early 30s, that's not that much of an age difference. It's not weird. And they don't think it's weird. And they're like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so's hot little sister or whatever. Right. So I had dated a couple of my brother's friends as I had gotten into my 20s, or old friends. And this one comes walking in the bar one night, just happened to cross paths. and he did heroin. And he came over to hang out at the house we were staying at. And me and my girlfriend like had really wanted some pills and we couldn't find any anywhere. And he's like, well, I have heroin. And we're like, no, we don't want to like actually do heroin, you know, because we're just doing oxy.
So at this point in your life, you haven't even touched heroin yet?
No.
It's been straight pills to this point.
I was like 25.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
25, 26.
Oh, okay. I'm tracking now. I thought you were going kind of maybe dabbling in everything. Just pills.
Just pills, alcohol, weed, coke. But I was okay because I wasn't doing like meth and heroin.
Yeah. So those I'm not a heroin.
I'm not
addict.
a real drug addict. Yeah.
These are just pills.
It's okay.
They're just pills.
It's just pills.
Got it from the doctor.
Even though I'm fucking smoking, I'm on foil like a weirdo. Well, and that was the thing with coke too. It's like I'd snort it for a little while, and I was like, "Well, this is fucking boring." So I'd freebase it. I don't even know what that is.
What's freebasing coke? Education
time. So you mix it with baking soda and water, and you make a paste, and you smoke it on foil. I was so addicted to that,
process.
Yes, through and through, of like I loved smoking things. I had always like smoked cigarettes. I had always smoked weed. I didn't really care about edibles when it came to weed. I was always the stoner that smoked. When it came to the pills, I don't want to snort pills. I don't want to pop them. I want to smoke them. If it wasn't a smokable pill, I didn't want it. If it wasn't the right pill, I didn't really care for it. It didn't give me the fix. I would still be getting the opiate into my system, but I wouldn't get the fix I needed and wanted because it wasn't an Oxy 30 and it didn't taste right and it didn't give me the same hit.
Damn.
Yeah. I was so addicted to that one specific. I have a very addictive mentality. Very obsessive and addictive. Like I have to have exactly what I'm craving.
And you'll do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. I didn't care who it hurt. I didn't care. The only thing that I wouldn't do is I didn't steal from my family, but there were definitely moments throughout my addiction I would literally just look at my parents and be like, I need money to go get high. And they, in a sense, enabled, because their door was always open. I could always come home, especially once I had my daughter. I was always allowed to come home because when I was out running the streets, they were so worried. At least they knew when I was home, I was under God's protection. They could pray over me. I was home. They knew I was safe. I was fed. I was showered. My daughter was okay. And so in a sense, I felt enabled because I always had somewhere to go. I knew that I never was like fully out on the streets. And so that night, he like offered us heroin and we took it. And I was like, all right, let's go do it.
Do you remember like thinking about the process? Were you scared? Were you excited?
Mm-hmm. Scared because in my head, I played out like I knew that I had family members that were heroin junkies, right? We were not that. We are not junkies. We're not fucking heroin scum. We don't do heroin. My brother's always like preached this into me. I don't fucking do heroin. That's for losers. Those are fucking junkies.
And you're processing this right before you're about to do it?
Yeah.
It's like
I knew what I was about to do. It's almost like I watched what was about to come into my life happen in my head for a moment, and I like knew where I was going to end up.
If you knowing this and you're processing, was it like a peer pressure moment?
Nope.
What was it? You just wanted that high?
I just wanted that high. I loved getting fucking high. I loved being numb. I have always been a super high emotion person. And I think from the way my brothers raised me, it was always drilled into my head to like not have emotion. Like the only emotion condoned was pretty much like anger, right? That was condoned. Any other emotions, you don't fucking show emotion. And I am a very emotional human being. I am realizing that now as in where I'm at today in life. I am super emotional. Drugs would help me be numb. And then I felt like, okay, I'm good again. That was normal. I felt normal because I was numb and I didn't have emotions. I have trauma.
Were you ever assaulted as a kid? I mean, how is it this bad that you need to numb the world?
I think also a lot of it had to do with, and I use this word very lightly, but religious trauma.
Okay.
Because the way I was raised, it was like I knew what I was doing was wrong because I didn't wear dresses and I didn't go to church and I cut my hair and I lived this worldly lifestyle. I was condemned to hell. And so I, in a sense, in my head was like, well, fuck it. I'm going to hell anyways.
Okay.
What does it matter?
Yeah.
And then it would like numb that kind of response in my brain of like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. Hey, God's not okay with this.
What's the point? I'm already going to hell.
What does it fucking matter? I just want to
let me
do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I just want to be numb. I think a lot of it also gave me that false confidence of where I thought I knew who I was. I was a bad bitch, right? Like I'm cool as shit. Nobody can fuck with me. Like I'm up here. I'm superior to everybody when really I was just broken.
Always.
I didn't know who the fuck I was. I was grasping for love, like actual real love and affection. I had no clue who I was. And I thought I did. I thought I was something to be fucking reckoned with. And it was just a facade.
False image of
what
your brothers created.
So sad.
Yeah.
I was just as that middle 20s woman. I was this broken little girl underneath all of it that just needed some confidence. I needed to find out who I was. And at the same time, I'm raising 2 girls. And I am teaching them how we were talking earlier. Your wife's a ratchet bitch that's running the streets. That's what your daughters are going to grow up to be, right? So I'm setting this example for these girls of like, this is how you act. And this is the type of woman you want to be. And I'm in and out of relationships. I'm bringing all these dudes around all the time. I'm just running and gunning, dressing like a hood rat, acting like a hood rat. And I thought I was running the world because men will give you attention when you act like that.
And then with that attention,
you feel fulfilled. And you're not. You're just broken, and the drugs help it. So when the men aren't around, the drugs fill the other void. And so in this instance, with the heroin being introduced to me, not only did I think that was a good idea, and that was a whole nother rush of being numb. Heroin is a whole different hit than those pills were. And then I grab onto that man, and we start dating, and I'm in the most toxic and abusive relationship I'd ever been in my life.
Physically or mentally?
Physically and mentally.
He's putting hands on too?
Mm-hmm.
When did that start? How far into it?
Not long. He also did a lot of meth. And so it was maybe a couple months into it where it kind of started with like just being smacked around. Like every once in a while, he'd kind of like backhand me here and there.
How did it start? What was the first time where you were like, was there ever a oh shit moment, or is that you just so grasping onto a relationship and let it go? I was so grasping
onto him.
Okay.
And he was older than me too, so I guess kind of like subliminally, it was like, well, he knows what he's doing. And this was the first man I had ever let put hands on me. Anything prior to that, I'll admit, I was the psycho one putting hands on the guys I was in a relationship with. I had no problem swinging on a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something he had in him. That man was demonized. There was something. He had let some spirits in on him to where you would look in his eyes. It wasn't him looking back at you. That was something else.
Mm-hmm. And
it was dark. And again, I liked to run my mouth. And so I would just pop off at him. He was cheating on me. He was running around, right? And I'd find these things out, and I'd bring it up to him, and then I'd get smacked, or I'd say something he didn't like, and I'd get smacked.
Face?
Yeah, usually in the face, just like popped in the face, just like backhanded, like you would a child, in a sense. And then it turned into he would just fucking snap on me, and he strangled me a couple times. Then I found out that his ex had reported him had pressed charges on him for these same things. He had a record. I was just finding out about this like 6 months in. And I was friends with her brother. And so he had like told me, he's like, Nikki, you need to be careful with this guy. And because I kind of like broke down to him and told him what was going on. And he's like, yeah, he did the same shit to my sister. But yet his sister was still having sex with him while he was dating me. Even though she had this record and this police record and all these charges on him. And he would freak out if I didn't like share the drugs with him and stuff like that, right? And probably, I think when I really was done is he lived with his mom in his 40s. Like if that wasn't a red flag enough for me to be like, dude, you're a loser.
Yeah.
And he came after me and my daughter with a knife in his hand right in front of his mom.
Did he ever touch your daughter?
No, he never. No, he didn't. He never like put hands on her or anything. He actually was really good with her, which I think psychologically kind of like messes with your head, right? Because, he treats me like shit, but, he like will go get Loa like snacks or juice, and like would kind of go play with her on the playground. And he had kids that were in their teens. They would come around every once in a while, but he just was fucked up in the head.
Why did he come after you and your daughter with a knife?
Because he thought I had drugs on me and I wouldn't give them to him. Because he thought I had left to go get drugs and come back and I wouldn't give him the drugs. And I didn't even have any drugs on me.
Was this an aha moment for you to get out of there, or even still?
A little bit, yeah. I got in the truck and went to my parents' house, and it kind of like fizzled out from there to where I was like done being around him.
But by this point, you're already on meth, or you were
meth and heroin.
So you're on meth
and full blown on heroin. Like I am strung out on heroin.
How long did it take from the first time you used till you were fully in heroin?
6 months, maybe.
And you're done.
Oh, that's it. That's all I want. I would use meth here and there because it was like around. And when you're completely strung out on heroin, you're just knotted out, dude. You're such a lame. Like nothing gets accomplished. You are fucking knotted out all day long. Like, you don't do anything.
Who's watching your daughter when you're just...
She's with me. When I had her, her dad and I had split custody.
Is he clean at this point?
Yeah.
So he's seeing... Is it hard for him to have to drop his daughter off to you, that you're a full-fledged heroin addict?
I hid it really good for a while.
Did you? How are you hiding that?
Because I worked a job and...
Are you detoxing during the day? Are you going through withdrawals during the day while you're at work?
I've just made sure I never was without. Like ever. I would always make sure I had some. Like and that was part of the reason I worked when I first started doing heroin. I would always have enough money to go buy heroin before I started selling. I worked a job, and I bartended in the evenings, actually here at a local bar, and for a long time nobody knew. Like I still physically looked like somewhat okay, and I worked at a bar, so like it wasn't like super noticeable, and then it got really bad. I got fired from the bar, and that's when I kind of spiraled and moved in with this lady who the abuser had introduced me to, her husband, and I lived with them for a while. She would kind of help me with my daughter here and there, and that's where it got really dark, and I didn't have a job, and I turned into a full-blown criminal. And started robbing houses and jockey boxing and...
What's jockey boxing?
Like going through going through cars, like if the door's unlocked, and then you just go take everything out of the jockey box and like the glove compartment and center console. So wallets, money, phones, jewelry,
Is somebody showing you this, or is your addiction so bad that you just knew how to do this?
Yeah, breaking into houses, stealing shit out of houses, because like you kind of like case houses, and when people kind of leave for work in the mornings, so you kind of like hang out in the neighborhood and you wait for like people to leave, and then you'd go break into the house like through the garage, usually through a garage door or something like that, a window. Go break into houses, steal shit. At this point, I am meeting people and connections that I never had any business knowing. And this is kind of where it comes into play of, it comes into play who my brothers were in this town. And I got connections that I never should have had because I was my brother's little sister.
Which opened up the wrong doors?
Yeah. Yeah.
To what?
A lot of weight and drugs that I had no business fucking with.
As far as transporting and selling?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get into to that much weight of heroin?
They knew who my brothers were, and they're like, we know that you're trustworthy because we know your family. So here you go. And I'm so strung out and I'm so addicted. So I was like, fuck yeah, this is great. Like, I didn't think for a second, like, what the fuck are you doing? This is dangerous. I didn't think for a second, like, hey, not a good idea. My addiction was talking that whole time. My addiction was like, oh, fuck yeah, I got to get so high and I got to make money.
Okay, so if your addiction's speaking to you, what's the biggest lie that heroin ever told you that wasn't true?
Biggest lie that wasn't true?
What did it convince you that wasn't true?
I wasn't worth anything. That's all I was. That's all I was. That's all I would ever be, was a heroin junkie. I would never amount to anything more. I had reached my capacity and my limit in life. And
you accepted that?
I accepted that wholeheartedly.
Damn, that's sad.
I had an aha moment of that reality in the garage one night. So strung out in my addiction and in my criminal lifestyle, I called my mom and asked her to pray for me. And I told her I was signing over rights of my daughter to her dad, and I was going to California because this is all my life would ever amount to, and I wanted to go big time.
Wait.
So I was just going to go to California and go be a heroin dealer, I guess.
And that's what you've accepted? You're just giving your kid away to go be a heroin dealer?
I said she doesn't deserve to be around this. I think my daughter's dad had taken her from me, so I hadn't seen her in a while. And I was like, I'm just going to give him rights to her because I can't get out. I'll never get out of this. This is who I am. I'm either going to die in the streets or I'm going to prison for the rest of my life. Either way, even if I go to prison, my brain was telling me, you'll go to prison, you'll go right back to the streets. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go to California because California is bigger than Idaho. Like, the streets are harder out there. That's what I want to go do.
When you started robbing, stealing, did you get caught at all, or were you getting away with this?
And getting away with it. That was the even more dumb thing. And thank God to this day that I never had those kind of charges on my record, because I almost felt like invincible because I never got caught.
So it just boosted your ego and the confidence?
Yeah, so I've got all this weight. I've got all this money. I'm high as shit. I'm running the streets. I'm stealing shit, breaking into houses, running and gunning. I've got like 2 or 3 phones because I'm hustling. I'm also so tweaked out of my fucking mind that I'm like running around and my face was all fucked up from my that mugshot. My face was so fucked up. I wore a bandana at all times. You never seen me out during the day. I'd only come out at night. Ducking and diving. The cops were after me. They knew who I was. They would sit up the street from the house I was living at. I had drones that would follow me around. I was like digging in the walls of the house for wires. I was tripping on everybody because I thought everybody was gonna.
Full methed out at this point.
And heroin.
What was your drug? I mean, you're going back and forth, but what was the main one? Heroin was your
and then I'd kind of like roll on the dope pipe a little bit to like wake me up because I had shit to do.
So heroin, I mean, is this the tweaking and you're picking and all
I
this?
feel like the meth makes me pick.
Okay.
The meth was like, meth's a dirty drug.
Yeah, and your pictures are really sad.
Yeah.
Because you're just soiled out. Is it all over your body or mainly face?
Mainly my face. And part of that had stemmed from, I had a tooth that was an abscess. And so how it started is I got an infection in a tooth. And the infection went into my face. And you're all strung out. And so that's how I got like the huge sores on the face. And I had gone into the ER. And looking back, I don't know how those doctors let me walk out of that ER and just let me leave. And prior to that happening, before I got all nasty, I had gone to the hospital and my lungs had shut down on me because I was smoking so much heroin. So before I really started into like the criminal activity, my heroin addiction was so bad and I was so strung out on it, and probably also built up from all the uses of the oxy on the foil. There's like a chemical that you're breathing in when you light the foil on fire. And my lungs were just coated in this crap. And in the x-rays, you would see all of these black nodules in my lungs. And the doctors were like, my oxygen levels were so low. My mom rushed me into the ER. And they put me on an oxygen machine and they have me in the hospital. And I am smoking heroin in the hospital.
You smoked heroin in the hospital? Who brought you the heroin?
Acquaintance, a friend, a person. A couple people did actually while I was in there. And then it got so bad, I got caught by security.
In the hospital?
Mm-hmm. Well, I got caught by a nurse and she brought security up.
So you're pretty much dying from smoking meth and heroin, end up in the hospital, and you're still doing it and get caught in there doing this.
Yeah.
And this isn't rock bottom for you?
No. And what's even crazier is when I went in, when my mom took me to the ER, I had my daughter with me. Like she had to watch me get like hooked up to all these machines and everything. And I had to like text her dad and ask him to come get her. And
how'd you get caught? The nurse walking on you?
Yeah, she walked in. I was like, it was nighttime, and so I thought I could sit there and like smoke. I thought,
is there like a horrible smell that comes off of this?
Yeah, there is.
And you weren't. I guess you're not giving a shit. You're in the hospital doing.
Yes, I don't fucking know. It was the dumbest thing.
That was kind of a stupid question.
You don't think I'm like, I don't give.
It's the last thing you're giving a shit about.
Also, like, I'm hooked up to oxygen. What if I would have like blown myself up?
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that.
Right? Lighting a fire right next to fucking oxygen connections, the hospital room. And the nurse comes in to like check on me.
I didn't even put those pieces together.
Fuck. And she's like, what are you doing? And I have like a whole baggie, and I have this like bag, like a makeup bag. It's got a scale, it's got dirty foils, it's got heroin. It's like a prison sentence just sitting there on my hospital bed. And so she calls security up. She's like, I gotta call security. And in my head, initially, I'm like, I'm going to fucking run. But I was like, well, that's kind of dumb. And then my next instinct was to pray. And I call my mom, and my knees hit the floor of that hospital room. And I am just begging God with my mom on the phone. My mom is on the phone with me the whole way. She's rushing down to the hospital and just praying in tongues the whole time. And my knees are on the floor of that hospital room. And the security guy comes in, and he was a retired narcotics officer. And my mom shows up, and I just tell him, and he goes, I heard that you came in here with a little girl. He's like, is that your daughter? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, I'm just an addict, man. And I thought that was it. Like, that was like a moment of like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? Yeah. And he gave me a chance, and like God answered that prayer. God answered that prayer. He's like, hey, Nikki, here's a chance. And they let me stay in the hospital, and I start detoxing so bad. The hospitals don't give you anything if you're in there and you're coming down, they don't give you anything.
You got to ride it out.
You got to ride it out. And
How long does that last?
It can last days.
Oh.
And so I will never forget, I'm on all fours screaming in bloody murder because I feel like someone is stabbing me with a knife in my back. I'm in so much pain coming down off this heroin. And I'm screaming and the nurses can't give you anything, right? And then it's like, what should they even give you? And it was so bad. They called my mom, and my mom comes back down there because I was signing myself against medical advice. I was like, get me the fuck out of here. I want to leave.
You had to get a fix.
Because I needed to go get a fix.
God, do you feel you were so close? If you would have just given it a couple more days, maybe?
Yeah. And I probably would have been fine if I would have learned how to like control my emotions. And I would have learned to sit there with myself and control my mind and control my body.
That goes back to your childhood of who raised you.
And so I was just in this like overwhelming moment of trauma. And it probably exasperated the physical of the come down because my mind wasn't strong enough to overcome it.
Just from listening to the conversations of people that have battled addictions, it's always this mind versus body. They're
Absolutely.
never aligned, or they
Never.
blow by each other to where, okay, I'm going to make this change. And then all of a sudden the addiction, the mental part takes over. But when the mental part takes over, the withdrawals come in and their bodies start failing and they want to fix it. And it's just this constant battle to try to plane your body off. But that's what this is just my retarded Marine mind. But you're just, it's never, your body and mind are never connected. It's just one or the other trying to get the fix or relieve the pain.
And I would guarantee almost every addict has been through some kind of trauma or emotional damage or mental damage. And so you don't know how to control yourself because if you're an addict, you've always given in to your whims. You've always given yourself what it wanted, what your flesh wanted, right? You've always given it. And so you've never told yourself no. You have no control. And it doesn't matter. You're in a hospital on oxygen. You get caught smoking in the hospital. Your knees hit that floor and you beg God to answer a prayer and he answers a prayer. And it's still, you can't tell yourself no because you don't have any control. You have not learned self-control. And so you say, fuck it, and you go do it again.
And that's what you did?
That's what I did. And I went right back to it. Immediately, I left that hospital and went straight to my connect's house.
On the way home?
I didn't even go home. My mom was so mad at me. She told me, if you sign yourself out of this hospital, you're not coming home. And I said, okay.
Did she not let you back home?
For a while.
Do you think your parents were a huge problem with this by enabling you all those years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did it for my brothers, too.
Which just gives you that false hope that you could just go back anytime, even if you hit rock bottom, mom and dad will be there.
Mom and dad are always there.
But as a parent, how do you tell
your kids no?
I couldn't,
yeah.
God, I hope to God I'm never in that situation.
How do you tell them no when you know what they're out there doing?
It's going to kill them.
And you would rather them come home and lay their head in bed at night under your roof, knowing that God is protecting them, at least for now.
I feel like you'd have to almost chain your child up and kidnap your child in your own home. Like, come home and then chain them.
Go in the basement. I'm locking you in the basement. Yeah, you can't go anywhere.
I've given that. I was watching a documentary a while back, and it was on this guy that was helping these homeless kids on like Newport Beach or Long Beach.
Right.
And he did everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And then their parents would show up, and there's a video. It's a horrible video of a mom there. It's in Cali, and she's begging her son, please. And the dad's like, he's gone. And it kills you as a parent to see that. And we want to judge. Well, he's just a drug addict and you step over him all day in the streets, but it's someone's son, it's someone's daughter. But then as a parent, how do you, come home. Like, that's my natural.
Right.
Yes.
Let me take care of you.
But then you're shitting all over that. And how long does that go back and forth before you give up as a parent? Or you have to say, okay, enough is enough. But then your kid's on the streets, and we know what the streets are going to bring that.
What happens when they bring it to your home? What happens when they're doing it in your home?
Stealing from you.
Because I would sit there and use in my parents' house. My dad's a man of God. He's a pastor. And I'm using heroin in your home because you would rather know that I'm doing that and that I'm safe. And I have a child. I have a child that I'm exposing to it. And so as grandparents also, not even just as parents, but as grandparents. And the crazy thing, my brothers were sick of my shit. My brothers
were sick of your shit?
Man, my brothers would tell my parents to tell me to fucking kick
How
rocks.
does that work?
Because they
Were they clean?
Mm-hmm. And had been.
So your brothers pull you into this life, raise you around this world.
Bye.
And then now you're the bad one?
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing? You're a piece of shit.
Now that you're on heroin and meth, that we don't do that?
Get out of that shit. What the fuck are you doing? Figure it out.
Are your brothers clean today?
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
Yeah. Married, run businesses.
Good. But you got sucked in.
Yeah. My oldest brother, I think it was right after I had my son last year, called me and we had a conversation, and it was the first time he apologized to me.
How'd that feel?
I broke because they had always like held on to this stigma against me because I was the heroin junkie in the family. Like I was the weak link. And my brother said, I'm sorry that I didn't know how to help you. And I'm sorry that I was gone and that I was in prison and I wasn't there and I didn't set the example that I should have. And then I hated on you for it.
That's a pretty mature, bold thing to be able to.
And that's all I ever
process.
wanted is they were the ones I needed the guidance from. That broken little girl needed my brothers to not step in and be like, you're a piece of shit. What the fuck you doing? Da, 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 da. But to be like, hey, I love you. What are you doing? I showed you the wrong way. Like, I was wrong.
Did they ever like accept that responsibility onto them?
I think my oldest brother has a little bit because he was the main one who, me and my other brother, our family is still kind of like mending relationships.
Oh, for sure.
Slowly.
For sure.
And we have been through some rocky roads, my middle brother and I, but my oldest brother was the one who gave me that phone call and said those things. And I was like, wow, you know, at this point, I had never expected that conversation to happen. And I guess in a sense, like I didn't really need it anymore until it was said. And then I was like, wow, I did need that. Like, thank you. Because I didn't know. I knew what I was doing was wrong, but I didn't know it was wrong because that's how I was raised. You wanted me to be a savage. You taught me this lifestyle. I did what you asked me to do. Why are you mad at me? Why don't you want to be a part of my life? Why don't you love me?
So now you feel abandoned by everybody.
Yeah. The exact people that I was doing it for your approval didn't want shit to do with me. And so that's when I was done. I was just done with life.
So you get out of the hospital. Do you go back to selling heroin and everything? Straight back to it?
Big time. I got worse after the hospital. It was when I got all the crazy connects. I was strung out. I was running the streets. Started all my criminal activity.
Who were you selling these to? Did you have any scary situations selling this type of drug? I mean, heroin and meth, I feel, are so dirty. Obviously, it's like we want to judge.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with a very different type of drug addict.
Yeah.
And you're not like a big woman, and I'm sure on drugs you're even
tinier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or did you ever run into any sketchy situations?
I'll thank God for that one.
Really?
I'll thank God for that because I never had anybody really fuck with me. I never had anybody physically harm me. I never had anyone sexually assault me.
So with that, you feel
oh yeah, dude, I'm untouchable.
This is good.
Yeah. I finally had that power that I had always chased.
Okay.
I got that respect. I'm big dog.
Woman now.
Yeah, I'm big
you're
dog.
moving weight in the valley, so people know your name.
And I also was really weird. There weren't a lot of females that I hung around with. It was mostly a bunch of guys that I ran around with. And I don't know if that helped or didn't help. I had this complex. I had a God complex. You could not fuck with me. And then I'm running around with guns and knives and fuck, I didn't even know how to use a gun. And I'm running around strapped all the time. Thank God I didn't like shoot myself or hurt someone else unintentionally, because nobody had ever showed me how to even use a weapon. And
you were out of control.
Yeah, absolutely.
All on your own too?
All on my own. I just thought I was like top dog, man. I thought I was some hot shit. I was big dog, just hustling. And I had this just like complex of, this is my life. How do I take it to the next level? Like, this is where we're at. This is what I'm going to be. This is what we're doing. So I need to leave Idaho, because Idaho's like small time.
You're trying to scale your
yeah. Might as well.
Operation.
This is what I'm doing.
So do you leave Idaho at this point?
I didn't leave.
No,
I
you
got
stayed?
arrested.
What'd you get arrested for?
Heroin.
Possession?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get caught?
So it kind of started.
Is this your first arrest?
Yeah. So
you've made it this long?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Years of drug addiction.
Okay. I'm processing now how you've put yourself on a pedestal. Yeah. Damn.
So touch me.
All of this, you have not had
Nobody
any
on the streets fucks with me. All my dealers know my brothers, so they ain't, even if I fuck them over, they're not gonna fuck with me, because all it would take is they don't know that even if I called my brothers, they'd tell me deal with your shit. But the dealers think that, hey man, even if she fucks us over, like, we can't fuck with her because of who her brothers are. And the cops, I thought I was fucking untouchable. I'm like, yeah, they know who I am. It almost like boosted my ego to know that, like, yeah, they fucking want me. Like, I know the cops are watching me.
So
the
it's
cops
a cat and mouse game.
Yeah. And you think, because that's what you live for. Like, that lifestyle, that's cool. You've made it. You're a big dog when the cops want you, right? When they know your name and they're watching you and they're following you. Fuck yeah, I'm a badass. I did something.
But in reality, you're
my God, you're so lost. You're so broken. You're so lost. And what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're headed to prison. And Idaho don't fuck around on drugs.
No.
Idaho does not give a fuck if you are an addict.
So how'd you get caught?
Yeah. So my first, it was within, if I remember correctly, like a 2 or 3 month period. And so I got I get pulled over, I pick up some charges, I bond out. Go right back to the shit I'm doing. I am out on bond, they call it like pretrial release. I'm out on bond. So I have a court date, right? I already have charges. I have a court date coming up. And I can't remember if like I didn't show up to the court date or I stopped. Like, pretrial release is interesting too, because you're supposed to be like calling every day to like go drug tests and whatever. And I'm not fucking doing that. I'm just going back to what I'm like, I'm out on the streets again. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get arrested that first time. Fuck it off. So at this point, you have a warrant out for your arrest. And I know the cops are after me, so I'm ducking and dodging, dipping and diving everywhere. Careful of where you go. Careful of, what hours you're out and about, what vehicles you're in. And then, let's see, I got the second time they come to my house, or the house I was staying at, and it is the night before Thanksgiving. And the owners of the home, people I was living with, let them in the house. I'm upstairs in the bathroom. They come knocking on the fucking door for me. And it was interesting because I had been out and about earlier that evening. And in the wintertime, it gets dark out early. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, I got to get home. Like, I shouldn't be out. There was something through all the years of me using. God has always given me the gift of discernment. And when I don't listen to it, I know what's going to happen. Even through my drug usage, and even when I was running the streets, God be like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, this is going to happen. You know what you need to go do. And so I listened to that, and I was like, I got to go home. Something bad's about to happen. I need to go home. I remember telling the dude I was hanging out with and the lady I lived with, and I was like, because we were headed to the grocery store. We ran some errands, and then we were headed to the grocery store to go get food for Thanksgiving for the next day. And I was like, I got to go home. I was like, I'll meet you back at home. So I had the dude I was hanging out with take me home because I just had this gut feeling. I need to get off the streets. I need to go hole up at home because something's going to happen.
And sure as shit.
Sure as shit. And they came and got me. Took me in. Same game. Fucking bonded out. That one was interesting because the lady I lived with, I had a bunch of shit in the garage. Just like a bunch of stolen shit in the garage. And I was like, hey, go sell that shit to get the money I need for the rest of the money for my bond. Okay. And call my mom and like give her the money to bond me out. Well, the person she calls to sell the shit to used to be her neighbor. And he's known my brothers for years. So she sells him all this stolen shit. He finds out it's to get me out of jail. He knows the guy whose all the shit belongs to. He calls my brother and says, bro, your sister ripped off one of our homies. I'm going to give him all his shit back. But I gave your mom the money to bail your sister out for all of the like equipment that I had.
No kidding. Mm-hmm. So now your brother's pissed.
So now my brothers know and their homies know and they're calling in like, hey, cut my sister off. Like if my sister pops up on anybody's radar, like, like we don't condone this. We're not cool with what she's doing.
So now your connections start falling apart?
Yeah.
You go into panic mode or what?
A little bit.
Is it
like I still have like little ones here and there?
But your main sources are drying up? No, you're not moving weight anymore?
They're like, bro, we don't want to talk to you. Well, and you're hot with the cops. They don't want your fucking heat.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Like now they know that I'm hot. And so it was not. So that was Thanksgiving. December 11th. I am in a vehicle. And I'm in the back seat, and I'd been dipping and dodging. I had warrants out for my arrest because, again, fuck off all my shit.
Oh.
And the Greater Idaho Drug Task Force, their marshals, federal marshals, come and pick me up. They knew where I was. They were following me. I'm like, you think you're slick. It's like they know what the fuck you're doing. They're watching. They're zoned in. This is what they do for a living. You're dumb as fuck. You're high.
Play every game you want.
You can play every game you want.
They already know.
Take all the precautions you want on your phones, dipping and dodging vehicle. Like, they know. Mm-hmm. They do this for a living.
Yeah.
So they come get me. And that was it. I go to court, and they put a $500,000 bond on me. And
so you were not bonding.
The judge was like, I am sick of your shit. He goes, you're not going anywhere. And I had to sit in there and process what the fuck I was doing.
Okay, so now U.S. Marshals snatch you up. Mm-hmm. The judge is absolutely done with your shit.
Yeah.
Not letting you out. Now you're sitting in jail processing this. What's the detox like, and what's the life and atmosphere like of this now that your life is crumbling around you?
Jail's disgusting.
How so?
Ugh, dude, your food. And they don't give a shit about you.
No.
Right? Like,
trash.
you're a number. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're trash. Especially when you come in looking like I do. I was disgusting.
You get sores all over. So they're immediately judging everything.
Gross. Mm-hmm. You know, I was nasty. And then you're going to jail. They're like, ew, dude, we don't. So they'll put you in a holding cell to kind of like detox. I think I was in the holding cell like 24, 48 hours before they put you in Gin Pop. And then they put me up at Gin Pop, and then that's a mess because, you know, Canyon County is a lot of like Hispanics against whites, and you deal with a lot of that shit, and you know people in there, and or people know people, you know, all the shit, and you're just, when you've sobered up enough that you're out of the pain, and you're miserable, you feel like shit, try to shower as many times as possible. And you kind of come out of this fog enough to be like, what the fuck?
Once that door slammed and you know you're in there, was this a panic mode, or did you almost feel relieved that now you get the chance to breathe?
I panicked and I called my parents and my brothers and I said, I am going to prison for a long time. Please make sure my daughter's taken care of because she's going to grow up without a mom.
You had already signed over custody to you?
No, I never signed over custody.
Oh, so you still...
I made that phone call with my mom, and then a couple days later, I got arrested for the first time.
So you never had a chance to sign over your custody?
God goes, God had a plan for me through all of this. God pulled some strings here and there throughout all this. I'm in no way, shape, or form like condoning what I was doing and being like, yeah, God wanted me to go through addiction, and no, but I do believe that he had a hand on my life and he had a hand on my daughter's life, and I believe that there was a reason I went through all of it because he knew I was going to come out on the end, and he knew my daughter was going to come out on the end, and he knew I was going to be able to sit here today and have this story. And
facts.
There were so many moments things should have happened to me, and God goes, no, I'm not done yet.
Okay. So when you go to jail or prison, who did you have to face first, yourself or God, your addict version? Do you ever remember sitting back and contemplating who was the first person you had to?
Well, that last time I got arrested, when I went to court, my daughter's dad had put a restraining order on me against my daughter. And so I did all my time with no contact with my daughter. And
how was that?
Rough.
Okay. I'm going to stop you on that. How involved were you actually as a mother being a user, as hard as it was? Was it this crippling, devastating feeling that you're losing your daughter, or are you so consumed into that drug life?
I lost my shit.
So you're actually feeling it now?
I was pissed.
Okay. Even though this little girl has watched you transition from smoking pills to heroin to meth, now on your way off to prison, you still feel like you were a role model. You wanted to have her in your life.
Yeah. I love that little girl.
And it's just the addiction.
That's my princess, man. I loved her. She was and it's twisted as this was, right? Like, that was my little homie. That was my little ride or die. I was raising her to be a gangster. I was raising her to thug it out in life with me, right? Like, she was going to grow up to be just like mama. And that wasn't the best way to be raising her, but that was my way to show her love.
You didn't know any different?
I didn't know any different. I was raising her how I kind of was raised. And I always had that little girl with me.
Oh, man.
I had her by my side. That was my road dog. Was my baby girl. And my niece. Being ripped away. And my niece, she was with me all the time too. Like, those girls were.
Your parents never tried to intervene and take your daughter from you, or like, hey, she could stay here?
Well, that's why they would let me come home. They couldn't raise her. I guess they couldn't raise her.
You were a better option?
I mean, I guess so.
Have you ever talked to, I know you're mending things with your family still, but has this conversation ever been had where, like, what the fuck? Why would you just allow me to live life as a full functioning heroin meth addict?
You know what's funny is, like, when he took my daughter from me, my daughter's dad, when he took her from me and I got hit with the restraining order, everybody was like, fucking typical, just like him to do this shit. Like, he always, because we had even prior to that, we had been through custody court like twice. Okay. And so we'd been through some shit. And
probably rightfully so. I don't know your situation, but
the first one, not so much, because it was just, hey, we had split up. We're trying to figure out custody, and it was dirty. And I was in a decent place. I was in an okay place to have her, and I had her a lot. At this point, what the fuck, dude? And everybody still was like, it was almost like it was like condoning, like, no, she's still a mom. She should still have her daughter. Like, no, dude, I fucking shouldn't. I am strung the fuck out. I should have nothing to do with that little girl. She is being exposed to me dealing. She is being exposed to people she shouldn't be around. Like, no, I shouldn't. And I'm physically there, but am I emotionally, mentally? Like, no, I'm not. I'm not giving her what she needs. You know, I was a piece of shit.
So he did the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame him.
Because if the roles were reversed and the dad's some heroin, I mean, we would.
Fuck yeah.
You need restraining orders.
Yes,
you need to get your kid.
Absolutely.
But when it's the mom, then it's
like, oh my gosh, how dare you do that? Yeah.
Good for him. I mean, I don't know you guys' situation, but good for him.
Also, looking back, I have some friends whose kids like would come to visit them out at the prison. I'm glad my daughter didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She dealt with enough. Yeah. She didn't also need to visit me in prison. Fuck no. That's awful. It's awful. No kid should have to go visit their parents in prison, especially when they're like old enough to remember it.
Okay, so did prison expose the addict or expose the woman underneath everything?
I feel like I finally came out from underneath all of it. So, you know, you go to classes and you're doing this programming and you think like you're good to go. And then you get out and you, COVID hit. And I have all this programming, and then you're in classes when you get out, and you've had all this time to like think about, oh man, I want to do this, this, and this with my life. And you have all these plans and all these goals, and you're like, I got it. I got this. We're good. I'm clean. I know what I want.
I got a plan.
Yeah. And I got a job. I went back to one of my old managers at one of my old restaurants and immediately had a job like the day after I got out.
Which is huge.
Yeah. Right. So
That's where I feel a lot of people that have been incarcerated fail immediately because the world's against them.
Yeah. I had somewhere to go. My parents let me move in with them, you know, so I'm like, I'm good.
How long did you do? In how much time did you do?
So most of my time was county time because I sat for so long. And then I was out at the South Women's for, I think I was out there maybe like 8 months. So total, it was like almost 2 years.
Okay.
It's about.
So 2 years, no contact with your daughter. Was that pretty rough?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How did you feel?
A lot of tears, man.
Now that you had time to process. Okay. I have so many questions. I always hear how it's easier to get drugs in prison than it is outside. Yeah. Did you ever have any temptations on the inside?
No. So that's an interesting one. So once I like sobered up in county, I never encountered anything at the prison, and we were at a minimum security. It was more, we called it cupcake camp, so it was pretty minimal. I was in the writer program, so it wasn't like drugs weren't really being brought in there and stuff like that. I mean, like I maybe they did, and I just wasn't. I tried to steer clear of the girls who kept like the criminal mentality and like that's what they were getting back out to. They didn't care. So I try to like steer clear of that. Cause in county, when I came out of my fog, there was drugs in county and they were around a lot. And I was done. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this.
That was it.
I'm done.
Okay. So getting locked up and going to jail, going to prison, was that rock bottom for you?
Yeah. I was like, dude, I don't want to fucking do this. And when I came out of that fog, so a very good friend of mine and I did a lot of our time together. We used to run the streets together. We did almost our whole county and prison time stint together. And she's a very, very good friend of mine.
Is she clean?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay.
Beautiful family, good career.
Good.
Yes. And her and I would sit there sometimes and look around and we'd be like, dude, we don't fucking belong here. I don't go here. Like, this is trash. Like, these women are fucking scum, dude. Like, I am not. Like, they're dumb as shit. And this sounds really fucked up, but none of them are educated, right? And I was always, like, really smart. So when you're around just people who are just, like...
Dumb. It's the only way to put it.
They're just dumb.
You're like, okay, this is... If I don't clean my shit up, now I'm one of them.
Yeah.
When did you go through your homeless phase?
That was before I got locked up.
Oh, how long were you on the streets?
There was a stint of
I don't mean to back up, sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I was like three or well, and I never had like, when I was in that really dark phase, I didn't have somewhere of my own.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like crashing at people's houses or whatnot. And then there was like a month stint of where I was hotel hopping. So I'd make sure I hustled enough money to like pay for a hotel every night.
Was that a grimy time?
Yeah, man. And hotels are kind of weird. They will look at your address. I don't know if this is like a thing here locally, but they'll look at your address. And if your address on your ID isn't so many miles away from the hotel, they won't let you stay there because of the drug problem.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Unless you stay in some like grungy ass, like Motel 8 or something.
Okay. So you weren't on the streets because that's terrifying.
I was in my car a lot.
Did you ever have any horrible experiences doing that? Because you hear just the most god awful shit.
No, because usually, like, if there was nights I didn't have anywhere to go and I was just in the car for the night, is when I would just like go find some houses to hit or some shit to do, just like run the streets for the night. I would just stay high. Yeah,
you were out of control.
Yeah,
you were out of control.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in jail now.
Yeah,
you got your homegirl. I want to touch on this for a little bit because it's such a fascinating culture and atmosphere for people. The men and women are just two different worlds in prison.
Yeah, big time. Women are fucking gross.
How?
They're dirty.
How?
They're dirt. Oh,
I've heard horror stories.
Oh my god, they're just so dirty. Like I know a lot about the men's side, and men are like, dude, they'll jump your ass if you don't like clean up your shit and like stay clean and pristine, because you only have so much space and you're sharing it with like all these other humans. Women are disgusting, dude. Like dirty pads, and like they would stick their tampons up in the showers and stuff, and just and you always had to just be cautious of like what you're touching and what's around, because you don't know what somebody's carrying, right? And you're bunking with people. So you have somebody under you, and then you've got like two right next to you, and then two on the other side of you, and it's fucking gross. And people don't shower, like hygiene, like people will just fucking rot, and it's just nasty. And I'm not that kind of person. And so my girl and I, like, they had this tiny little shed garage, and it had a gym in it, like a little bit. So we'd hit like 2 a days out there, and I had a job. And so I'd go to work, and I'd go to my classes, and I'd go hit the gym. I had a routine. I had a schedule.
How many other women are adopting this lifestyle inside there with you?
A handful of us.
Well, what do you think the percentage be? Very low that they're actually are in there, like
10%
that are. I'm never coming back.
I'm on a schedule. Well, I feel like they all get in that mentality of like, I'm never coming back. Like, I'm never going to use again. And you can almost like feel the sincerity or lack thereof from some of them. You're like, oh yeah, sure. Like, sure, you're not.
But then you talk to one, are like, oh fuck, I got to get out of here. I'm never coming back.
Well, there's those of us that, like me and my girl, where we sat there and we're like, dude, we're not the same. We're not cut from the same cloth.
Do you think a lot of it is just most of those women, that's just the product of their environment?
Absolutely.
This is where I feel where we are in society today. This is just me.
Mm-hmm.
Take somebody. Well, we're going to use Andrea, previous guest, the one that straight. She's a prime example. Born straight in the drugs at like 10, 12 years old, already addicted to meth, heroin, mom giving her all the drug, whatever, right?
Yeah.
We take a girl like her, a woman like her, and then we see this track record. And you could even be an example of, okay, all these problems, they've been arrested, drug abuse, whatever, sexual abuse, whatever may be going on in their life. But then we lock them up. Cool, you're doing your time.
Mm-hmm.
At any point, are we sitting these individuals down, men and women, and being like, okay, where did this start?
Yeah.
Oh, you were molested as a child?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that ever happen? Because we always want to, this is why I hate prisons, because they sell us on this rehabilitation and they're changing, but it's not fucking happening. That's the biggest lie that along with everything else that our tax dollars go to. But I mean, and I know we have these programs, and now with my boy Michael and Vic, they're doing the RISE program to connect the CEOs. So those types of things going on. But these people that are constantly in and out of the system, is there anything that's out there where we're sitting down and going, okay, where did this start? And then can we unpack from there so they can deal with childhood trauma, deal with the life that they've been raised? Or is it just we throw them in there, lock away the key, and expect them to figure this trauma out?
Okay, let me ask you this, because I have kind of adopted a controversial mentality on that. When it comes to COs and the prison systems and the programming, and I'm not condoning all the stuff that goes down in those places, because I know there's all kinds of stuff to unpack there. But at what point do those of us that have been through running the streets and being incarcerated and addiction, at what point do you claim responsibility for what you've done? At what point do you quit blaming the system? And at what point do you go, I'm tired of being a piece of shit?
What was your moment?
And do you make a fucking change? I'm done. I'm fucking done. I don't want to do this shit anymore. At what point do you quit blaming it on the fucking cops? At what point do you quit blaming it on your environment? Change your fucking environment. Change your habits. Change your hobbies. Change the people you hang out with.
But that's the mindset.
Change your fucking mindset.
How for some of these people? I get it. Trust me, I'm with you.
It didn't happen overnight for me, that's for sure. And I think that's like the biggest part of my story is I got out and I went right back to it.
Did you?
Yeah, I was on the run for a year.
After you got out?
Yeah, I was.
So you're in prison. I'm never coming back. What happened?
COVID hit, and so you're in all these classes, and you say everybody needs to unpack their baggage, right? Okay, we need to talk about and I'm not saying their programming is perfect, and the system's hard, man. I was like, how do you fucking get that perfect? Because you're dealing with people who like genuinely want to change their lives, and then you're dealing with these people who like, I hate to say it, some of them are a fucking lost cause, man.
Oh, for sure.
They don't want to change.
For sure. That's the only life they know, though. They don't even know what to change into.
But people thought I was that lost cause. People looked at me and was like, that girl's never fucking getting out of the system.
If I saw you on the street looking at your mugshot, I'm 100% judging you.
Yeah.
I would just, my heart would break for you.
I judge people who looked like I did. I'm like, damn, bro.
That junkie.
That's rough. Yeah.
And how long she's been in it.
What the fuck? Yeah.
What life led to that?
What a piece of shit. Yeah. But also, I will sit here 10 toes down and tell you I was the biggest piece of shit. So me looking at someone else and being like, damn, dude, you need to get your fucking shit together. Well, that's because I can look at myself and be like, hey, I was that person. I needed to get my fucking shit together. Like, I was trash. And so you get out and you do the programming and you work through, I think you also you got to give some effort into it, right? Like, you dig a little bit in programming and questions come up and they give you an opportunity to work through some things.
Okay, so these programs helped you in this, or was this outside?
No, this was in.
Okay.
And I think it helped me enough to sit there. I was honest enough with myself and with my program teachers enough to at least have a little bit of a realization and being like, it made me think, right? Enough to be like, hey, what are we doing? This is what we've done. This is where we're at. Where do you want to go after this? Do we want to keep this cycle? It asked enough questions and I had enough conversations within myself going through the programming of this is the reason I'm here right now. I slowly started understanding when I was locked up in my programming that my relationship with my brothers was part of the reason I was where I was.
Okay, so
sometimes you gotta let the programming work. But if you're gonna sit in there and be like, oh, I'm a badass, I'm too cool to do this shit because I'm in prison, I'm fucking hard, and I'm not gonna talk about this shit. Well, like, okay, that's not gonna work.
So somebody
Give it a fucking chance. Be honest.
Why aren't they though?
Be honest. Because
have they ever up to that point though? Have the majority of these people locked up ever been honest with themselves?
Probably not. But that's where it comes down to your own personal choice, right? Of like, are you going to sit here and keep putting up this fucking facade that you're hard,
Is it a facade to them though? I mean, they
wasn't to me either.
This is where the human mind is so fascinating.
At what point do you have a switch to flip, though? At what point do you take responsibility?
Yeah, but I mean, you have a child. You haven't seen 2 years.
I've lost everything.
Oh, you lost everything. But I mean, but look at how many women are in the same situation, and it still doesn't think, right?
Yeah,
getting caught in the hospital.
That's self-victimization.
100%.
You can blame your past all day fucking long. At what point do you take responsibility and be like, I'm done being a fucking victim?
For sure.
I have a chance to change. At what point are you done blaming everybody and everything for the reason you're sitting where you're sitting? At what point? At what point is it done being everybody else's fucking fault?
And it doesn't even have to go with drug use or being in prison. That goes as a father.
That goes in
everything in life. Oh, well, my dad would treat me like that. Okay, cool.
I'm tired. I don't want to get up and go to the gym. Oh, well, healthy food's expensive. I could go on all day about fucking excuses. I hear,
sure.
Fuck, dude, sometimes I hear things from some people about like, oh, well, especially people that don't have kids. I have a few friends out there. I love you guys. I'm really sorry. But I don't want to fucking hear that you're tired.
No.
I give 0 fucks. We have 3 children, 3 dogs. My husband burns the candle on both fucking ends. We try to stay in shape. We do CrossFit. We go to the gym. All these things. I don't want to fucking hear that you're tired. I don't care. I have a 10-month-old that wakes me up all night long.
But you got time to lay in bed for 3 hours or 2 hours every night before bed.
And watch your TV show.
Or scroll. Watch a sports game.
Oh my gosh.
Wear another man's name on your back. You don't got time though.
What a pussy. I'm not one for that
no,
kind
me neither.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
Okay.
Someone that has thrown their life away.
Yeah.
Chose drugs over everything. Your child, your parents, relationships, gone through jail, been arrested, prison, gone through the system. What would you do to change the programs inside of prison to help people wake up? Or is there anything you could even do?
Oh, man. That's tough. Honestly, I think they need people in there. Well, and a lot of it has to do with the people teaching these programs.
Have they walked the trenches?
Right. Like, are they someone that these people who have experienced all these things are going to sit down and have respect for or feel comfortable enough opening up like they need to?
Did you have that opportunity? Did anybody make you feel comfortable enough?
I had this one guy and he was great. And then it was kind of weird because then I found out later, I think he like had sex with one of the inmates and like got a divorce from his wife. Some weird shit went down.
That sounds right on par with Idaho
fucking
prisons.
Weird, right?
No, that sounds right on par. If before this podcast, I'd have been like, oh, what? Now I'm like, oh, just one? You only got one pregnant? You only got one female inmate pregnant? Okay. Well, he's not that bad then.
But like, I kind of get it because he did seem to kind of be like all the pick-me girls kind of hung out with him. And it was like you were in fucking high school again. Prison reminded me of high school. Oh, it was awful.
Dirty,
just like, oh my gosh, I want attention. And like, all the girls are in relationships with each other. And
that's what Andrea was saying. It was the gayest environment. She said there was just orgies, women hooking up.
So gross. Like your shower curtains have to be like, they were like almost up to your knee because the guards needed to be able to see like under the shower curtains. Yeah. So like more lack of privacy because bitches can't be fucking normal, because they just gotta like, dude, you're in here like, and again, I was in the writer program. You're not in here for years. Chill the fuck out. Like, you can have sex when you get out. Like, fuck, dude. Don't be gross. Like, just, ugh. And I feel like maybe that's women, though, because women need to feel that, like, women need affection and they need to feel that, like, attention and they need to have, like, women crave that.
You know what's crazy is that...
And most of these women are broken.
100%.
So they're just craving that. And then they're getting it from each other. It's weird. Or COs or the people that are teaching the classes.
I don't want to get too deep. Yeah. I don't want to get too deep into it. Did you see, because I get a lot of, there's a 50-50 on people that defend the COs like, this does not happen. COs are not taking advantage of women. And then the other half, well, these women are taking advantage of COs. And I'm just going to say that from my point of view, if I'm a woman locked up or I'm a dude locked up in a prison and there are a bunch of female COs, I'm doing everything I can to turn one of them. That's my job.
Okay, so I also know some dudes from like California prisons who have turned COs. Like it happens.
For sure.
Absolutely. And so, okay, so flip that. And I don't condone the COs or the inmates. I'm not on team CO or team inmate. We're humans.
Yeah.
It's humanity. No one's going to be perfect on either side. You're going to have shitty humans, whether that be an inmate or that be a CO. Either way. Like, that's just reality.
Are the COs... I feel like once they get labeled, then all the women know, and then they know that they can just take advantage of this dude because he's going to take advantage of them, and then they own him because then now he's got to bring in things. Is that the game?
A little bit, yeah. And I think, well, and like even with some of like the female COs, you know, some of them are a hard ass, and you're just like, fuck, dude, that one's a bitch. And it's like, well, yeah.
She's dealing with
to deal with your shit, dude. Some of you are fucking mouthy. They're adult babysitters.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like, I wouldn't want to deal with your fucking shit. I'd snap at you too if I was a CO. But then again, on the other hand, and then there's these girls who are the inmates who they will entice the male COs. Right? And so is one better than the other?
Oh,
is one
not.
Worse off than the other?
No,
I don't.
That's all. They're all equal.
It's a whole...
It's a crazy atmosphere.
It's gross. It's sad. These females are broken. Also, though, I think that some of the COs are broken. And they just happen to not. They probably should be sitting where the inmate's sitting. And instead, for some reason, their path led them over here to where they're abusing power. But you can't sit here and tell me that inmate, if their path would have led that way, they wouldn't abuse the power also?
It's 100%.
Right.
Well, I say that a lot between military and convicts.
Yeah. Easily. Yes.
We are one step from going military path or to prison.
So
I feel a lot of majority of guys.
A conversation with my parents before I actually was like, maybe I'm a couple months before I got strung out on heroin. And I was like the kind of clean when I was like drinking and using Coke and stuff. And I had went and talked to a recruiter for the National Guard because I was like, okay, I can still be home with my kid, but like I need something. I need some structure. I knew that I was a mess. And I went and told my parents, I was like, I think I want to join. And they were like, no, don't do that. You don't want to join the military. I wish I wouldn't have fucking listened to them.
No, you wouldn't have your family and your husband now.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no way.
But sometimes addicts and criminals, we need that structure. And I think that's why they rebel so much when they're incarcerated, is because they don't want to be told what to do, but they fucking need to be told what to do. Like, somebody needs to put your ass in check.
And what's crazy, this is the craziest part about people that have been incarcerated. I have these conversations with them, and they're the most creative, fascinating, are juggling this, building this, unplug this, turn this into this, built this. I got this thing, it's heating up because I got a light socket. This is
tweakers, man.
You can't take this. You can't take that into the entrepreneur world and build a fucking $1 million business overnight. Like I go to prison, I'm gonna be like, help. I don't know. And then I hear these stories and I'm like, you can't do that and then they get out to the real world and they completely come unraveled.
I think it gets overwhelming.
For sure. For sure. I get it. But it's just like, how did they have this mind of this survival? How do we hone that okay, we need to start a business. Then you have that purpose and that drive to obsess over growing something instead of a drug.
Absolutely.
So it's like, because I talked to somebody, I'm like, you did what? And they're like, oh man, then you mix this with this, and then you let it sit for 4 days, and then you do this, and then you pull the outlet out, and I'm like, you can't grow a business, bro. You cannot. Yeah. You can't side hustle something. At your
mom's house? Yeah.
You know, like when you truly think about it, I'm fascinated. I'm like, My mind doesn't work that way, and I could grow a business, but I'm like, you have a whole other skill of just figuring it out, which is all entrepreneurship is just figuring it out. I'm like, dude, you got a hot plate and you're cooking pizzas in prison?
Spreads, man.
Well, oh, did you ever? Okay.
Yeah, we would.
What was your go-to meal?
I learned how to make them with just hot water in a metal sink.
What were you making?
Like you would like cook your food with literally just in a metal sink, like with hot water.
In a bag or something?
Yeah.
Just because
you don't have, well, like in county, you don't have, so when you're out at the prisons there, you usually have like, we had like a day room and you'd have like certain times where you could go use like a microwave or whatever. But in county, like you don't have any of that. So you like get hot water as hot as you can from the metal sink. And then you'd use like a towel and wrap it in a towel. So it kind of like steams it in a sense. And that was how you cooked food. Was that an eye opener for you? And stuff.
Was that like a come to Jesus moment?
Well, you want to know what's even worse is, okay, so it's like a whole, you have the sink, and it's this whole metal thing, and then you have the toilet. And it's all one compartment. Yeah. And so you're cooking food right above where you shit and piss. And it's just like, this is fucking grungy, man. This is gross. Yeah, I'm a really clean person.
Okay, so what was the dirtiest shit in prison that you had to deal with?
I had this bunkie, and this bitch was huge, and she was so gross. And she was probably, oh Lord, I'm trying to be nice. She was,
God help me on this story.
She was like, she had to be like in her 40s or 50s. She was way past being able to have babies. Okay. And she was way over 200 pounds.
Okay.
Huge, nasty, stunk. And I think she was probably messed up in the head because she was convinced that she was pregnant. And they would do rotation on bunks. And I got her as my bunkie one rotation. And we had these like plastic laundry baskets for our stuff like under the bunks that wouldn't fit in the lockers. And so I had a whole laundry basket like full of food. Well, this bitch had stuck a dirty pad underneath her bunk and it fell in my food basket. And I lost it. That was probably the closest I came to knocking someone's fucking ass out. I didn't even feel bad. And they were like, well, you got to be nice. Like, I don't think she's all that. I said, I don't give a fuck.
No.
That's disgusting.
You know when I discovered how nasty women are? Because our whole lives, you're always like, man.
You have a house full of them?
No. I am the cleanest one in the house. I will take that title. I am a freaking clean freak. But I'm not saying my kids are white or dirty, but.
Kids are dirty. Yeah, they are.
I was a bouncer.
Oh,
and we would go in and have to like, check the women's, make sure everybody's out.
Yeah.
You'd walk in the male's bathroom and there's just like piss dribble under urinals, right? And like maybe a couple little pieces of toilet paper. I would go into the women's bathroom to make sure it was emptied and trash.
Dude.
There'd be just a freaking tampon that some chick pulled out and went bloop, next, not even in the toilet. Why would you not just
They wouldn't even like wrap them in the trash cans
just
and
plop
stuff.
them on the floor, throw them in a trash can.
It's disgusting.
Shit everywhere. The sinks are destroyed. And it wasn't like once in a while.
No.
Every single night that I worked, that's how that place was. And the conversations that these women would have, like, that was another later on in life when I went to kind of the corporate route and I was working in an office. It was just all women except for like me and then some one dude that was like an IT tech nerd. So I was like the only like dude.
Help.
And I would listen to them talk. And they were so much more vulgar. Like a dude would be like, "Oh, bro, smashed last night. It was great." These were like, "Oh, and then it was this." And then the details that y'all were talking about, I'm like, man, that was the most vulgar shit. That's why it's like that all the little ratchet ass shit that they read. Like that.
They are. Because they are, and it's not meant to be that way.
But men are always, the men are gross. Boys, man, women are on a whole other level.
I would have rather been over in the men's prison, dude. At least they like make their beds and are clean and shower. And
what is something that you had to deal with in prison that you've never talked about before?
I had to learn how to control my anger, and I had to learn how to swallow my pride and take instructions and be told what to do. And I had to choose every day that the possibility of getting out and being a mom again was worth more than me proving that I was a badass in prison. So there was a lot of times that altercations would happen and I would have to swallow my pride, bite my tongue, pretty much look like a bitch and walk away and let somebody else and not do anything about it because
you're just catching more time, catching other charges.
Yeah.
Longer extent.
I wasn't willing to flop my rider. I was not willing. I had wrote a letter out to the judge when I got sentenced. That thing was heartfelt and I meant every word of it. I knew I was worth more. I knew I wasn't just my addiction. And I had enough clarity to express that and beg for a chance. And I was given a chance and I wasn't going to ruin it. And I knew that little girl needed me. Mm-hmm. And if I flopped that rider, I had 12 years over my head. It wasn't fucking worth it to me.
Oh, you messed up on the program you were on? You were getting 12 years? They send you on your
time. Yeah, so I had time hanging over my head. So the prosecuting attorney wanted to send me away from my time. We were asking for probation, and the judge was like, pretty much it was up to him because we couldn't come to an agreement with the prosecuting attorneys. And so the judge sent me on a rider, and he goes, I feel like you deserve a chance. And when I came back before him, he told me, he's like, I do not want to see you again. He goes, go, like, you come see the judge right before you get released. And he's like, I hope I never see you in my courtroom again. Like, you did so good on your rider. Like, you deserve to have this life. And then I got out and I fucked it all up. And I went on the run.
Woman, come.
You're telling me. But
how did you go on the run? I'm like, okay, God bless you. You go through all this bullshit, drugs, homeless, fighting everything, lose your daughter, go to prison. Yeah. They're going to, instead of giving you 12 years, you do almost 2. Mm-hmm. You start to realize that, hey, I'm going to change my life, and you get out and piss it all away? Yeah. How did you do this?
I got out and COVID hit, and they have you in classes and stuff, right? And COVID hit, and so everything starts getting shut down. Well, that was crazy for like probation and parole and all of the oh my gosh, the classes you would take. I can't remember what to call them. And all of a sudden your classes are on Zoom. POs aren't checking up on you, right? Because there was like some regulations they put on like POs doing house visits. Okay. So you're not required to like show up into these classes. It's on Zoom. So, you know, you log in for a couple of them and then you're like, fuck it. I don't want to log in for class right now or whatever. And, this will so they give you this long rope to hang yourself with. And if you're smart, you don't hang yourself with it. But if you're dumb and irresponsible, you're like, it's fine. I'm good. I can run around and do what I want because nobody's checking up on me. Because you just went from like someone up your ass telling you what to do every single fucking day, all day long.
To complete freedom.
To just complete freedom. And I went back into the service industry, immediately had a job again. The good and bad thing about service industry is it's fast money. So you have cash in your pocket every single day. I got my daughter back. And this is where it stems to change your environment, change your people, change your places, change your things. And I still couldn't cut ties. And so you start crossing, you're on social media. Again, people start hitting you up. Oh, hey man, what's up? You look good. Oh, let's kick it. You hang out with people you were locked up with.
Oh, that's a big one.
Right? And maybe they're not doing good.
And they just slowly pull you into that.
Yeah. And so you start hanging around people that you fucking shouldn't be hanging out with. And my biggest thing was I was like, man, I was really trying to get on my feet. And so I started selling. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to just use a little bit. And nothing crazy selling, like just like a little bit, kind of like just flipping more than like selling, right? Just flipping a little bit. And then I started like dabbling, just a little dabble, right? Like just a little bit. Heroin.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. It'll be okay. Just a little bit. And
How quick did that get its hooks back in you?
Fast. I was like within 6 months of being out, I was strung out again.
Damn.
Yeah. But this time, instead of like, but I still had this like mindset of like, I want to be a mom. I had goals. I wanted nice things. I wanted this life, right? And so this time, instead of running the streets and doing all I had already like kicked the criminal loyalty. I was like, dude, I don't want to fucking run the streets. I'm not trying to go do all that crazy shit. Like, I held down a job. There was a guy that I dated for a while, and he was sober and like went to AA.
Mm-hmm.
He went to AA, NA. I would like go to meetings. I was like, all my friends, all my like people that I associated with were all clean. So it turned into this like weird thing of I would go pick up just to use. Like I would only like be around just enough to just go grab it and then back to my normal life.
So you're living two lives.
I completely.
Do your sober, clean friends?
No. I looked normal. I looked good. I looked healthy. Like I ate. I had a job. I took care of my daughter. I had a nice car.
When are you using? Is it a morning, lunch, dinner thing?
Oh, all day long, but it would be like quick, right? Like I'd go in the bathroom and like use real quick, or if I'm in the car, nobody else is around, you know, just like enough to like just use really quickly to like just kind of maintain
just little hits?
Yeah.
So you're kind of microdosing heroin all day?
Yeah, yeah. And then there were like times if I was like by myself at home, I'd be like, oh yeah, I can like get really high and just like watch a movie and like nod out or something. But, and I, like if you look at pictures from that timeline, like I looked decently healthy, you know? I've always been on the smaller side, so it wasn't like I was.
Drastic changes?
No, yeah. And I looked good. Like I, you know, would do my makeup still, and I had started like really getting my tattoos and stuff, and I'd still go get my hair done and my nails done and stuff like that, and I dressed nice.
You're living this secret life of doing heroin on the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, secretly.
That's terrifying.
Very much so.
Okay, so where does this lead you to?
I went a year on the run with a felony PV out.
What's a PV?
Parole violation.
Okay.
Because my PO couldn't get a hold of me. I would dip and dodge him. And so eventually it got to the point where like the address he had was my parents' address, and my mom would like tell me like, hey, don't come to the house. The POs have been by, you know, like don't come over here. And so I would stay at boyfriend's house or, you know, whatnot. And my daughter's getting like a little bit older at this point, and I have her all the time, and I most of the time wasn't really using around her. Like I would use, but it wasn't like right in front of her, right? Because she was getting older, and I just wanted like a normal life. At this point, I was physically addicted to where I knew if I tried to kick it, it was gonna hurt, and so I knew what was going on. I was like, Nicole, you got to get off this shit. Like, what the fuck, dude? Now you're just like physically dependent on it. I don't want to go back to prison. I don't want to get wrapped up in this. I know I've got a warrant out. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I'm doing. Like, so I go to methadone clinic, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go get on methadone.
Which is equally as bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just now on a prescription heroin.
Yeah. A different kind
opinion.
of. Yeah. No, absolutely. That's exactly what it is. And they're fucked up there.
The clinics?
Oh my gosh.
Why? So this is a methadone clinic?
Yeah.
What makes it so messed up?
Well, I mean, the other thing too, right, is again, you're trying to avoid people, places, and things, and all these people are fucking junkies.
And you're like sitting in a waiting room
dude,
with
and
these
you
people?
See people you know, yeah, and you're going in there and it's just grimy, and you gotta wait to get dosed, and they're fucked up, and I don't know how they get money somehow from like insurance companies or whatever. They will dose you and dose you and dose you and higher and higher and higher milligrams. And you can be high as fuck on that shit if you really wanted to.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's super addicting, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
People that you get it, use it like one or two times.
You have the same withdrawals off of it. And so I get on the methadone, go into the clinic, But I'm like, I can't fully give up the heroin because sometimes if you don't have a clean drug test, they don't give you what's called take homes. So you have to like go down to the clinic to get your dose every morning. So sometimes like, oh fuck, I slept in too late. I didn't make it to clinic. I'm just going to go pick up like a little bit to get me through today, and then I'll hit the clinic tomorrow, right? Things like that. So I was kind of in this like back and forth cycle.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like sometimes I just kind of get like, even on the days I dose, I'd feel just kind of like just a little ick. So I'd just go get like just a little pick me up, not enough to like just get me blasted, but just like a little bit, you know? So I felt just a little bit better. And the guy I was kind of dating at the time we had gone on a split and he relapsed. And he and I started hanging out a little bit, and I was trying to get clean. I was like on the methadone, and I was hanging out one night with him, and I knew that I wouldn't go out at nighttime. He was in an MC. And so the only time I'd go out after dark is if we were on like the bike with him. And he was like, I gotta go to Caldwell to go like pick this guy up or whatever. And I like knew, again, one of those like gut moments that I knew I shouldn't go do this. Like something's gonna happen. And so I left my wallet at home so that I didn't like have my ID on me. And we ended up getting pulled over, and they found out who I was. And I went into county, and God again goes, they don't give you bonds on PVs. Like there's not a bond on a PV. You can't get arrested on a PV and like bond out.
Okay.
You get arrested and like your PO, you have to go to court, and your PO has to like, your PO will come down to the jail and like talk to you.
Yeah. Or
the PO just tells the courts like,
throw the book at
yes. Yeah. And so I get arrested, and I'm sitting in Ada County. I guess the one good thing about when you're in with the clinic and you've been on a regular basis, if you go into jail, they will let you do a 7-day taper.
Okay.
And so they bring your medication down to the jail, and you get a 7-day taper so that you can kind of like slowly come off and not be just miserable in there. So my mom gets my taper sent over. I go to court that Monday morning, and they're like, hey, you have a bond. And I was like, okay, but sometimes you can have a bond on one charge and then like a no hold or a no bond, a hold on like another charge. Yeah. So like even if you paid the bond on that one charge, you're not going anywhere. Yeah, this other one.
You just took care of one.
So I'm like sitting there like, okay, but where's the catch? Like I have a hold somewhere else, right? A no bond on it. And they're like, no, like this is, you pay this, you get out. I was like, okay.
You're sure?
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. So I call my mom, have her look it up. Yep, sure shit. Well, I can't remember exactly. Like, I have a feeling my parents were kind of just making me sit there for a little bit before they would bond me out.
We'll unpack that one later down the road.
I think they were kind of like, because they were taking their sweet time to bail me out. And I had my taper, right? So I'm sitting in there. I did 7 days. And I sat in there, and I was like, what the fuck, Nicole? Because I was sober enough to be like, this dude, and all I could think was, you have 12 years over your head right now. Because that 12 years is still sitting there because I didn't successfully finish my probation. So I'm sitting there thinking, dude, you're going to go to court. Your PO has had a warrant out for you for a year. You're fucking dirty.
You're going away for 12 years.
You're going away. You're done.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in there and I'm seeing people I know, right? And I'm just like, fuck, man, I don't want to do this shit. Like, I'm not even running the streets, right? I'm just addicted. I'm just a fucking addict, man. And I can't kick it. And I'm exhausted and I'm tired. And then I think I'm like, dude, your daughter's going to be like 15, 16 fucking years old when you get out. She just don't want shit to do with you. She doesn't need you. She just got raised without a mom. Like, she's not going to need you.
That's a hard one to process.
And I'm sitting there going, I've been working a job. I've been being a mom. I'm just a fucking addict. Like, I just can't kick it. I am physically addicted to this thing. Like, I don't give a fuck about the criminal life anymore. I'm not trying to be a hot shot. I just have a fucking addiction. and I cannot kick it. And so it gave me a lot of time to sit there and once again look around and be like, I don't belong here. And that was my last aha moment. And I think God just needed to set me down one more time and be like, okay, last chance.
Taste it one last time.
Last chance. What are we doing? Like, here's your very last fucking chance.
How'd you get out of getting 12 years?
So I sat for 7 days, which was funny because I had a 7-day taper. And I swear, I think my parents made me sit in there for a minute. They finally bailed me out. Finally. And I'm tripping, right? Because I'm like, Mom, you got to hurry up and bail me out, because what if they like catch that there's a bond on this PV and then they like take it away and then I'm stuck in here? Mm-hmm. Like, you got to hurry up and get me out of here, right? Mm-hmm. And they're thinking like, fuck, we don't want you out of there. Because at least when you're in there, yeah, like, we know you're safe, you're okay, you know, you're going to have to deal with the consequences anyways.
Imagine if this is the first time that your parents made you deal with the consequences, and this is the time that it changed, and this is where you woke up.
Yeah. Quit fucking enabling. Like, let them deal. And that's hard as a parent, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely. I can't judge. That's one thing I can't judge parents on.
I can't even imagine. And so they bail me out. Processing takes for fucking ever. And so I think I got out at like, it was early in the morning. It was like 5, 6 o'clock. My parents had been sitting there for hours. They released me in the morning. And I go back to the house. I was renting a room, from this house. And the lady, how I knew her was from AA.
Okay.
She goes to meetings and I'm renting a room from her and I'm fucking using the whole time, and they don't even, and I had another roommate that lived in the house and he was in meetings too, and I had a sponsor and everything. Like, dude, I was like regular, like, this was my community. These were my people. This was the environment I was in. And so I was like, at the same time using, and I'm like, fuck. Stuck in the cycle, but I wanted out so bad. And so I go back to her house and like she had changed sorry, Tiff. She had changed the lock code or something. All I can remember is like, but I still had my room there, right? But all of a sudden I had just disappeared for like a week. Nobody knew. They didn't know where I was. Like, nobody had any clue. My job, the job I'm at today, I had been working at for a year, and all of a sudden I just disappeared.
So nobody knows anything.
Nobody knows anything.
You just pop back.
Everybody thinks I'm a normal person. Like, because I'm working a job. I rent a room from someone. Like, I was trying to get my daughter back, you know, all these things. And I go break into the window. I like crawled through the window or something and get into the house. And I get like the keys to my car, and I like showered and changed. I think she was at work, so nobody was even home. Showered, changed. And around like 7, I remember I was like, wait until it was like the PO was in his office. And I had told myself, I was like, we're done. So that day I had gotten arrested in the middle of the night and went to jail. It was the last time I had used. I did my methadone taper in jail. I went to clinic. I went down to the methadone clinic when they opened. I dosed. And I waited till my PO was in his office, and I called him. And I said, hey, I need to talk. And he goes, okay, come down. And I walked into his office, and that man, he is very intimidating. He was not a small dude. Also, shout out to Officer Lassiter from Ada County POs. He is amazing. That man is absolutely amazing and changed my life.
Good.
He will tell you I changed my life, but I will give him credit where credit is due. Okay. He is one of the good ones. And he looked at me and he goes, tell me why I don't send you to jail right now. And I was like, I don't really have a good answer for you. And so I asked him for just one more chance. I said, he gave it to you? And he gave it to me. And I have a clean date of, oh my gosh, July 22nd, 5 years ago.
Good for you.
Yeah. And I looked at that PO, and he worked with me through some things. I went through... I got on methadone regularly, and I went through withdrawals off that because I was not going to be someone who was going to be stuck on methadone for the rest of my life. And so that was crazy. My husband now, we had just started dating, and I had like 2 months sober, 3 months sober, clean, I guess.
Is that against protocol? Should you be getting into relationships while you're okay?
You shouldn't be. And also, I went to my job because I disappeared from my job for a week, and I went into my job, and they didn't really want to give me a chance. And the owner was like, "No, she always did a good job. Like, every chance." Well, I've been there 5.5 years now, and I met my husband at my job, and we moved in together. I got custody of my daughter, and I start kicking the methadone, and they push it on you. So like, you'll go in there and you'll be like, "Hey, I want to do a self-taper. Like, I'm done. I want to taper off." Well, that means they lose money.
Oh, they're funding. The grants they get. Yeah, 100%.
And so you'll go in as you go through your taper, and you go in this weird little, it's so creepy. You go into like this window, this little box, right? And you're in this window, and they ask you, "Okay, well, how are you feeling today?" And you're like, "Well, I feel like shit." Like, duh. And they'll go, "Okay, do you want to up your dose?" No.
Just like that?
Yeah. "Do you want to up your dose?" So
they're making money off of how much they're prescribing.
Yeah.
This is such a government thing. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and I was on Medicaid, so it's Medicaid paying for it.
Look at all these organizations like in San Francisco and California that are giving out needles,
Oregon,
like
legalized.
Like, who's paying for that? Like, obviously these are grants for us. At the end of the day, taxpayers. Well, that's why I don't pay federal taxes. But these methadone clinics and these, it's our government keeping us high.
Yes.
It's our government keeping us addicts.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Yeah, these are great programs."
Are they?
You're walking in there, "I feel like shit today. Do you want it higher?" Okay, yeah. Oh, all right, no problem. We're going to give you 30 milligrams or whatever the prescription is.
You also see when you do like intake, you see, I don't know if they're like a psychologist or a therapist or what they are. I don't know which one's allowed to like prescribe you, but they try to push SSRIs on you too when you go in there for intake.
What's the SSRI stand for?
They're for mental health
meds. Health, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly what
I don't know the acronym from it, so I was wondering if you knew it. Oh, 100%. That's why
money.
Every pill that I had a CO that came on, and he said that they had these women or men, whatever, going through their transition changes in prison.
Oh, that's crazy.
But he said they would get a full vial, thousands of dollars. The prison would pay for a full vial. They would draw one syringe out of it and throw the vial away for that injection. So
they wouldn't even use the vial?
No, one pull. They would pull one draw from it. They'd draw one dose from it and throw the vial away. And they would inject the person in their testosterone or whatever. And then whenever later, every time they did it, they were drawing from a new vial and they throw the vial away. Because the state's paying for it. We're paying for it.
So they're just throwing away all these hormones.
So instead of being like, "Okay, these are Nicole's.
Yeah.
Here's her
like you have this
box.
dose. Yeah.
Here's her dose. And we're going to pull from this $1,000 vial that cost $50 on the streets.
Fucking
but
crazy.
The prison's paying $1,000 for it. They pull from it, throw it away. And then that's the scheme. But then guess who's running the pharmacy side of it? It's the warden's wife. And then there's all these connections.
Yeah.
Like, that's with these methadone clinics. It's probably some senator's fucking son. Is in charge of it now.
Owned.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just money in people's pockets.
Every time. But then you get
disgusting.
These stupid idiots that are like, "These are incredible programs."
They're really
no, it's not. It's just another way for them to keep us high and medicated.
I have a really hard time with it because I don't condone the methadone app. Fuck, man. If you can kick drugs to anybody out there who's struggling and you can kick it without methadone, please, by all means. Did it benefit what I needed it for when I needed it? Absolutely. Because I wasn't out using.
Yeah.
I was checking all the boxes, doing what I was supposed to be doing. On the other hand, when I finally kicked it, it was brutal.
Oh.
Brutal.
Was kicking methadone worse than kicking meth or heroin?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, the things my poor husband had to watch me. I had to we had a spare bedroom and I would go sleep on the floor in that spare bedroom at our house because I would toss and turn so bad. I reached out to my PO and was like, "Hey, I'm going to test dirty for pot for a while because I can't kick this. So I would like, and this is where my next bout of alcoholism started.
Make sense. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to help people get off meth or heroin, whatever their addiction is. So we put them on methadone. That's a worse recovery than off of meth or heroin.
Yeah. Well, then it fucked up my teeth. Methadone is like, oh, it's so bad for you. It shuts down like organs. I have an aunt and uncle who were on methadone for years, and it just like shut their systems down. And so it like really fucked up my teeth. I started having all kinds of issues with my teeth that I'm still like recovering from because it just rots your teeth out.
How is this a better option? How does our government or state?
It's just a legalized option. And really though, it's a legalized option. So right? So I'm not out on the streets doing heroin. This is legal. It plays on the same receptors in my body. It does the exact same effects. People shoot it up. And it's okay because as long as you're only testing for methadone, you're fine. As long as only methadone's in your system when you do your UAs, you're fine. And so your body reacts in the same way as if you were taking heroin.
It's just a legal heroin.
It's just legal. And so you don't get in trouble with your PO. You don't get in trouble with the law.
Same side effects?
Same side effects.
Worse addiction.
Worse addiction.
But this is legal.
But it's legal.
This is where
And the state will pay for it.
This is
because my Medicaid paid for it. It's crazy. And they want you to keep taking more. So you go in there and you tell them, hey, I want to self-taper because I don't want to be. I remember the day I looked at my husband, my boyfriend, then husband now. I looked at him and I said, I'm so tired of being dependent on something in my life. I'm so tired of having to have something to get out of bed every fucking day. I'm so tired of physically being dependent on a substance. I'm fucking done. I'm exhausted. I want to be me. I want to wake up in the mornings and just get to live my life.
Do you even remember what that feels like at that point?
No, I never in my life had that opportunity ever.
Do you think a lot of people reach that breaking point where they just want to feel normal and they never can and they end up taking their lives?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're exhausted.
Did you ever get to that point, or you have your boyfriend that was with you?
I felt like all the years I was using, when I was like really dark into my heroin and meth addiction, I was definitely at that point where I was okay if I didn't wake up one time from like nodding out. But I was too scared to IV use because I knew if I IV used, I would OD and die because I was so addicted. Because I needed and craved it so much. I knew that if I slammed a needle in my arm, I wouldn't come back from it.
Is it harder getting sober or staying sober?
Now that I've been sober for so many years, I would tell you getting sober because of like the withdrawals and the come down and the physical aspect of it and the mental aspect of it. You have to be very mentally strong. You have to be dedicated to your decision, right? You have to follow through.
100%.
So now I would say that it was getting sober. In the moment while you're going through staying sober, like that first year maybe. Well, and they talk about the pink cloud, right? I think that's what they call it, the pink cloud. It's like they say it's the first, what is it? The first like 6 months or year of your sobriety where life's just beautiful. Everything's amazing, right? Okay. Because you've got a job and you're doing good and everybody's so proud of you because you're doing so good, right? And so everybody's cheering you on and then monotony hits.
And it fades.
And then it's like, oh yeah, they're fine. Nobody's like encouraging you anymore. Everything's not exciting. You're getting into the monotony of, oh, fuck, now I'm dealing with the consequences of all of the decisions and actions I've made for how many years?
The bills, time.
Oh, everything. The trauma, your own bullshit. You have to sit back and be like, damn, I fucked that up. I fucked this up. I fucked that up. I can't do this. I can't buy a car. Thank God I had a job. I have a baby daddy who can't fucking stand me, who's taken me to court how many times, can't co-parent for shit. This person don't trust me. This person in my family can't stand me. I don't have any fucking friends because they all use drugs or I've been to prison with them. So you're lonely.
Nobody thinks or talks about this.
No, and you have nothing. And once again, you have nothing but yourself. You have to deal with you. And so are you strong enough to deal with you and continue through that sobriety, or are you going to relapse? I wasn't strong enough, and I turned to alcohol. And I became a full-blown raging fucking alcoholic.
After getting clean. Did you even realize you were getting sucked into that, or was this?
No, it was fun. No, it started out as...
It's different. I'm not high.
Yeah. Well, and it really did start out as socially. My husband and I, it was within our first year of dating, and I was clean. And so I had told him when we started dating that, hey, like I don't really do much because I just go to work and I bust my ass, and I was in the middle of custody court, and I was like, that's all I really do, you know? And he was going to lineman school, and that's how I met him. And we would go to the bars every once in a while with like friends. And I was like, man, this is nice to like get out again and socialize. And it really was as innocent as that. But we are fucking addicts. My husband has, I believe, about 12 years clean off meth.
Him.
He was a meth user.
Good for him.
And him and I did kind of the same thing where we are addicts through and through. And so alcohol became something that we just clung on to.
So
we become alcoholics together.
So now that you're doing it together, you're able to share these times, share these moments,
and
the
then
partying.
We became a mess.
Do you have kids at this point besides your daughter? Do you have your daughter back yet?
Mm-hmm. So I had my daughter 50-50 with her dad.
Okay.
And I also have a stepson who was coming to visit every once in a while. And we were drunk all the time. And it turned into, and I was never one much for like liquor. God help when I was on liquor. But it was like Twisted Teas and White Claws.
White Claw, Trulies.
Oh, yeah. And it was fine because it was like beer.
And
right?
You mix a little vodka with the White Claw.
And then every once in a while, if we went out to the bar, like, we take a couple shots, right? But then it turns into every morning I'm waking up and drinking a Twisted as soon as I wake up. And I'm driving to work with a Twisted Tea or a White Claw.
Just a roadie.
It's just a roadie.
Just a roadie.
And then you get off work and you're like, fuck yeah, dude. And you vape.
Let's grab a pack
we
for the way
vaped.
home.
So I'd stop at, like the Tobacco Connection and grab a tall boy and a fresh vape and drive home fucking faded. No big deal. And then by the end of the night, you are blackout drunk.
Damn. And then since you're doing it together, it doesn't seem so bad.
Oh, we just...
Now you're just feeling, you want to go get a drink? Let's go do this.
Yeah.
Kids are gone.
Yeah.
Let's go out.
Yeah. And then we became super toxic. Just.
Always.
Oh my gosh.
There's never a relationship built off of alcohol. That
No.
Like, this is the greatest period of our life.
Oh my gosh, I just love you so much. No, it's more like, fuck you.
Oh yeah. Toxic.
Everything was a mess.
Yep.
But like from the outside, like, we were renting a nice house and we had our kids and, we both had really good jobs. My husband was working for Idaho Power. I'd been at my job for however many years at that point. We weren't on drugs, so everybody's like, I was gaining weight because of all the alcohol. So everybody's like, oh, you look really good. Cause I finally had put some weight on and I was a fucking mess.
But since it's alcohol,
it's okay. So
You're
our
cool.
friend group, all of our
It's
friends drank.
Mm-hmm.
That's so normalized. And everybody would go out with us and we were such a good time till we weren't a good time. And
it switches quick.
Oh, like a light switch. And I still have a God complex when I have alcohol in my system and I want to fight the biggest dude in the bar.
Brings the old
And my
version
husband's over there like rainbows and fucking butterflies and he's living his fucking best life and he's like, I can't fucking stand you and doesn't want to deal with my shit. And he is king of I don't give a fuck. And that is like a trigger sentence for me of like, oh, you don't give a fuck? Well, I'm gonna fucking make you care. And so it was just like it was horrendous. And we just had this cycle of mental, physical. I mean, we broke shit, right?
The knockdown, drag out
Oh
brawls
my
over
gosh.
nothing.
And our vehicles would get trashed and fucking throwing beers around, just I'd get pissed at him because he'd get drunk and he'd become an asshole. So I'd hide his whiskey from him, or I'd take all of his beers and I'd dump them all out. But at the same time, I'm fucking drunk. So like, what am I?
How long did this last?
Oh, a couple years.
You guys made it through?
No, we split up. No, we split up. We were in a really fucking bad place. And I come home one night we had gotten into a huge fight, and I come home one night from my friend's house. I was like, fuck you, I'm going to go over to my friend's. And I went and got drunk with her. And I pull up, and he had a buddy come over, and he had his truck and trailer fully loaded. And I pulled into the driveway right as they were about to fucking leave, and I lost my shit. And I if I remember correctly, I slammed his arm in the door, and I swung on him, and we got into it, and he dipped and went back to Washington. And I was like, we're fucking done. There is no fixing us. And then it got really dark for me again. And I was out partying, and I was at the bar almost every fucking night. And he was doing the same thing, just in Washington, just separate. And again, God goes, I've got a plan. And so we went through this really dark time. And I did coke a couple times. And it's ironic because he it was almost like we were doing the same thing, just in two different places.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I guess he, something in the house, because he had lived in the house I was still living in with me, and something had gone wrong with my toilet or something one night. And I was like, dude, I literally have no one else to fucking reach out to right now. And he knows this house is an older home. And so I happened to call him and FaceTime him. And I think that was the first point of contact. And I had slowly, my good friend that I did a bunch of time with, her and her husband have had a membership at one of the gyms here locally for a while. And she was I was like, dude, I need something. I need something. And she's like, well, why don't you come work out with us? And I was like, all right, cool. So I went to the gym with her a couple times, and I met Mary and Charlie at 3D Fitness.
Oh, okay.
I had a conversation with Charlie about kind of my past and where I was, and I was kind of trying to pull my head out of my ass, and but I'd been clean off drugs. It was just kind of the alcohol, and I'd just gone through a really bad breakup and all these things. And well, little did I know, God was working on my husband over in Washington, and his sister does CrossFit, and so he started going to work out with his sister, and he started going to AA, and he got a sponsor, and we kind of started texting here and there. And when you're in those moments and you see I don't know, you've been married for years, so but you're in this breakup, right? And so you see these reels or these songs that remind you of this person, and when you're still drinking, you're like, oh, I'm gonna send that to him. That's a good idea. And so I was still
he's thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's I still love you so much. And I'm, again, a time where I was trying to fill a void. Mm-hmm. Both of us, with the alcohol. We were so broken. And the alcohol filled a void because we had underlying bullshit that we hadn't dealt with. And sobriety is fucking scary. Mm-hmm. Being clear-headed is fucking scary. Dealing with your own thoughts is fucking scary. And when you have to sit there and think about all the shit you've done to all the people you've done and your children and yourself, and then you're dealing with the health consequences because you've just beat your body up for years. And he started working on himself, and I started working on myself. And he asked if he could come take me to dinner. And I was like, well, you're in Washington. Are you driving through for work or something? And he's like, no, I just want to come. I'll drive to Idaho just to take you to dinner. And he did. And we sat down, and my husband is not a spiritual person. He doesn't have a super strong faith. We're still working on him.
I got
God's
a
still
crowd. I got a group
God's
of
still
men.
working on him. And it's funny because now some of our very good friends, he has some really good friends that have very strong faith, and I love it. I love
That's
when
what it takes.
Yeah, I love it when I'm like, hey, God knows what he's doing. He always has this whole time. But he starts talking to me about, he goes, I've been praying. I was like, what? I was like, you don't even believe in God.
I'm like, to who?
Yeah, to what?
Who's
What
what?
are you praying
Where?
to? Be careful.
How?
Because actually, yeah.
How?
What are we? Yeah.
What type of
where
prayer?
are you going? Yeah. So
You turned into your
he's
parents.
just like, yeah. Like, let's talk about this. Open a Bible on your ass. So he started getting a little bit more spiritual.
Good.
And he was just like owning up. Again, not condoning any of my actions. I was just as guilty as he was for all of the shit I did. But he like stood up as a man and was like, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I led you down the wrong path.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. And he got healthy and he was working out and I started working out. And so he would like pop over to visit and I had to sit down with my daughter and be like, hey, are you comfortable with him coming back to visit? Because he was going to come into town one weekend when she was home. And she goes, yeah, I really miss him. Because
he's been a figure.
He's been around since she was like 7 or 8 years old. I think he came around when she was 8. And then since then, our lives have blossomed and bloomed into what it is. And we got married and we had a baby. And we've had to do the work, though, because even after getting clean off the drugs.
Work hasn't started yet.
Oh, my gosh. And you talk about how these addicts have all this potential, right? And if they would just put all this potential and they're so smart and all these things. Well, I watch my husband and we're kind of going through a season right now where our lives are finally at this point. We're like, okay, we have all these goals and all these things that we want to do and we want to obtain. But we've really fucked up our lives. And so we feel behind. We feel like all these other people that are our age, they've bought houses and they run businesses and they've got this and they've got that and the fancy cars and, they're doing good and they've got, or even got their body physically where they want to be. And we're like, fuck, man, we're trying to hit those goals. We're trying to hit those goals. And when you're in a season of working to the goals, it's really fucking hard.
That's when you hit the worst.
Yeah.
But also remember, I suffered from that for a really long time.
Yeah.
How does he have that? That dude's a piece of shit. He just closed 15
it's
mil.
So frustrating.
You start comparing. But then when you really, truly get inside of those people and learn them, they're battling addictions.
Yeah.
Not just drugs.
Yeah.
All the other
all kinds of stuff.
They're extremely in debt. They're not tight with their wife or their children. And you start seeing that. And then you start really looking at yourself going, okay, this was a battle for me that I thought when my wife had to bring me out of it. Like, hey, but look what we have. Mm-hmm. Look where we were counting change. Yeah. I'm signing up to go to Afghanistan on a contract just to try to keep my lights on. Yeah. While my wife is counting change to pay the bills before I even get paid. So we look back at those times. Are we there now? Yeah. No. Look at the home we're in now. Look where our kids are. Look at our relationship. And then you really have to start reflecting on, okay, we have this. We're blessed. We have it. My kids have a roof over their head. They have a warm bed to get in every night. We got food in the pantry. Fridge is full. I don't need. Yeah. I don't need to compare myself to them because when you get to know those, I know guys here in town, they're worth 150 million. Banging his best friend's wife, his wife's banging him. It's dirty. They're all coked out in the morning. But on paper, and you drive by the house, he's got the hangers, they got the toys, they got the boats, they got the cars, they got the wife. But then I'm doing business with these guys. Their wives are sleeping on them. They're banging each other's best friend's wife. They're coked out all day long.
They're miserable.
It's a shit show. But back up 4 or 5 months, I'm like, holy, these dudes. Yes. They're going to get me to the next level. Yeah. How do I? Yeah. Babe, then you start getting to know these people and you're like, oh my God, no. Yeah. I'm cool. I'm cool with my little home. I'm good where I'm at. I'm cool with the truck paid off, one almost paid off. Yeah. Like, I don't need a brand new. And so, but I suffer from that for a long time. It's hard. Because when you start and I'm behind. This dude's 30 years old and he's worth $5 million already. He's doing $5 million a year. Mm-hmm. I'm in my 40s and I'm starting life over again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you start comparing. That's the
Comparison
devil.
is a devil.
That's the devil
Yeah.
is comparing to other people because you don't know what's going on in their life.
You don't.
And I've had a friend on this show. We actually, he does executive security.
Okay.
He did executive security for a friend of mine that I used to kick it with, but we didn't know this. This dude's worth almost $1 billion, like 900 million trust fund kid. Anyways, we've done some crazy, but we started talking about him offline and he's like, he said something to me, he goes, dude, because we're kind of tied into the same realm of these wealth, like a level of wealth that most Americans don't realize even exists. He said, he goes, we're in the same circle. We know a lot of these type of people. He goes, I know you probably feel the same. He goes, I've never met any of these people that have everything. I would not trade shoes with them for a single day because of the shit that goes on in their life. So I'm with you though, but that's one of those things you have to, as a couple, you have to check each other. When I start getting into my, start growing how I wanted to. Why aren't we getting the trip? My wife's like, what do you mean? This podcast is the most prime example. There's months where we are just flat.
Yeah.
We don't, zero growth, shit downloads. My wife's like, your shitty downloads
are still better than someone's.
Are not even that, are better than where we used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, boomer, you get X this. You only have this amount this month. What about when we were getting 400 downloads a month? She's like, are we there? I'm like, no. She's like, okay, then.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But then my wife, she'll get in her little feeler. Well, I haven't sold a house in real estate. I'm like, look at the deals you got open right now, though.
Yes.
They're just taking time. And so
it takes time.
But as a couple, that's where you cannot both get into the woe is me factor and comparing to everybody. I compared for years.
It's really hard.
And it never gets you anywhere.
I think and as a wife, that's something else that I'm learning after my past. And you and I were touching on that earlier about, this feminist bullshit. I have had a really hard time being a submissive wife because I'm used to running shit. And if you ask my husband, he will tell you I still don't know how to be submissive. But
that's a really important thing, though.
It is hard. It is,
especially if you've been primed your whole life. That's who you are. So now you have to rewire
completely
your DNA of who you were programmed to be to now, okay.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, he needs to be taking charge.
Yes.
He needs to be stepping up.
Yep.
But there's the give take. Like there's, as a husband and a couple, but to help you fall into the submissive role. And when I'm talking about this, and I know you're the same, it's not you're mine, I own you. Yeah. And I tell everyone, my wife, she'll never walk behind me, but she'll walk beside me through everything.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I set the tempo in this home.
Yeah.
I set the rules. I lead my home spiritually, financially, whatever it may be. That's my role as the provider, as the protector, as the husband, as the father. But I'm not doing this alone.
No.
I got my wife right by my side. Yep. But she's never stepped in front of me. I don't ever step in front of her because there's times where I have to lean on her. She's my rock 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But
it's give and take.
She explains it. You look back in the day and you want to go ancient times, look at these kings and they would walk and how they'd present themselves and lobbing heads, going to battle. But dude, they go home at night and they're just falling into their queens. And their queens are what ran these empires. Yep. Because that's who they confided in. Yep. And that's who
Queen Esther.
And when you get back to the olden days, it is the most... Yeah. It is the coolest shit to be able to read about and watch how these empires, how these queens controlled their husbands because they felt safe, they felt secure, they felt heard, they felt loved. But at the end of the day, that dude's out there lobbing heads off, coming home and confiding in his wife. Hey, are we going to war with these people? But now it's, hey, is this what we want to launch? Do we want to go this route? Is this what we're going to try to grow? And then that give take of having, because if that female, you're the wife, the whatever in the relationship, you need to, nope, I'm better, I'll do it, I got it. Then what does that do to your husband?
When you're just at conflict with each
other. And
other.
you're constantly suppressing him. When he corrects the children, don't talk to him like that, it's too much. Instead of in front of the children, hey, maybe we take this approach, but then as a husband, hey, we have this son that's not listening. You've had your approach. Now it's my approach.
Yeah.
I'm not saying hands-on, but there needs to be that level.
Yeah.
You need to escalate those levels.
Absolutely.
Hey, she's talking back to me. That's when the dad, we have our roles. And that's where it's so important.
Yes.
You got a disrespectful child that's not listening to you, but you're the wife and I'm the take charge wife and your son's not listening to you. How's he going to respect the father when the mother of the home doesn't?
Nope.
You want your children to respect your husband and you don't respect them?
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
Well, and
vice versa.
The children kind of follow the moms.
Absolutely.
When it comes to that dynamic in the homes is like, okay, well, so my daughter sometimes can get really sassy with my husband. And I noticed in moments like that, it's probably because I've been mouthing off a lot. And so then she gets like,
who's the mom?
Dun, 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 to my husband because she goes, well, mom said this or, mom's done. And I remember a couple of times when we had gotten into it and she'd be like, well, you're hurting mom's feelings. And I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that shit. We're not doing that shit. That's not how this works. You don't get to back me up just because I'm mom.
Nope.
Because he's the last call. Or vice versa, when she's just being a little snot nose to me and we just can't get on the same plane is when he steps in and he goes, hey, no.
Yep.
And that's the last word. That is what it is, is when he steps in and as the man. And there's times when he has to do that with me. I don't like it. And I might grumble about it a little bit.
For sure.
But I've had to go from being Miss Independent for a while when we first got together. I always made the same amount of money as he did. I busted my ass, right? I've always worked really hard and that was a really hard one for me after having the baby. And my husband's job he's slowly progressed at his work and I'm still just here. And I only went back to work part-time for a little while and I was making way less money than him. And I had to depend on him financially. And that was one of the hardest moments as a wife that I've had is when I was on postpartum and I would have to come to him and ask him, not ask him for money. We figured out our finances and we have joint finances, but I'd have to be like, hey, we need this money for this. And it wasn't coming from me.
See, as who I am as a man, one of my biggest flexes is that my wife never has to work.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I'm raising daughters to never depend on a man.
Because that's really hard in today's economy.
Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. We work together. All of our businesses are run together. We're business partners and everything. But there was a phase in our life when our children were little and she was working and it didn't make sense. So then we had our second. And I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Your whole entire paychecks are going to daycare. So I was able to pull her so she was able to spend that time with her kids. But we look back at it now and she says that was one of the greatest gifts I've ever given her was the ability to stay home with our youngest all through the breastfeeding stages.
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting the entrepreneur world and we worked together. We've actually worked together longer than we haven't. That's
amazing.
It is. It's been a lot of work and it's
you guys
tough,
are goals. Couples like you guys is what me and my husband sit here and we're like, man, that's what we're trying to get to. And it, like I said, we're in that season where it gets a little frustrating because we're like, fuck. How do we get there? Why is it taking so long?
We've started our whole life just over 2 years ago. We walked from everything and started life all over again. And you could do it anytime, but that's where it's the process. But, and I don't want people thinking for women to not ever be able to depend on themselves, but that's that boss babe shit. Well, I bring this to the table. That's where that mentality ruins it because if your husband is able to provide for you to stay home and raise your children, what a fucking flex.
Yeah.
You as the mom, as the mother of the home, when he comes home, there is food, clean home, your kids are ready. That's the ultimate goal for me. I don't want my wife out working a 9 to 5. That's why I work my ass off. That's why we're involved our kids. But it's different now because now everything's for us and we do everything as a family, which is crazy. We're trying to figure out. But it's just that whole night, the boss babe, feminist shit where you need to be independent. Don't ever depend on a man, which I do agree with to a certain point of don't ever build a life that you can't go and do something, right? As far as dependent because I tell my daughters, you don't ever want to depend on a man.
No.
Ever. But when you get in that relationship and you're in that marriage and it gets to that point where you can step back and now your husband's allowing you to be able to provide, to spend that with your kid. Well, that's the biggest flex.
Yeah.
But it's hard for women that have been raised in this independent world. Now you have a husband that's busting his ass and you're like, well, I got to make what he has.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. My wife, dude, there was a time where real estate was, she was crushing me. And I was like, I'll be a stay-at-home dad. I'll be I got a sugar mama for once in my life. Well, the roles were reversed. I'm like, this is great.
This is great. Yeah.
This is
I'll
great.
be stay-at-home
like,
daddy.
What are all these guys complaining about? Like, this is, no, I cannot play the dad role. Like the stay-at-home mom dad was not for me, but
it's hard. I think even stay-at-home moms,
bro, that's the hardest job on the planet.
Because I love my children. I am not cut out to sit at home with my kids all day long. I'm not, man. I love them to pieces. I'm a better mom when I
get some breaks.
Yes. I need that. It's just, that's difficult.
Oh, for sure.
So good for them.
For
they
sure.
can do that. Or like the ones that homeschool, I give you props. The school systems are a mess, but I have a really hard time just postpartum. When I was on maternity leave was really hard to just sit at home. And I was like, what do I do all day?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is my purpose? And then I've slowly realized, same goal, different jobs.
Okay. So what are you doing now?
So right now I bartend.
Yep.
I've been at the same job for the last 5.5 years. I currently am working towards my NASM. So I'm getting my CPT for certified personal training. I'm also getting my wellness and nutritionist coaching. My husband is also working towards a goal in fitness. We're trying to get a clothing brand up and running. Eventually, I want to become a CrossFit coach, but I'm pretty new into CrossFit. So I want to get my L1. That's my goal for next year. And I have fallen in love with CrossFit. Like that has just been.
It's a cult. That shit'll suck you in.
I know. We love it.
You know how I do CrossFit? Because I had to tell you I did CrossFit.
I'm just going to tell you that I'm a little better than everybody else, but it's okay. I appreciate the endurance side of it.
Oh, for sure.
Right? And so my husband and I also get to do a lot of workouts together, and the community is amazing. Those people, and everybody brings their kids, and we do like the Murph on, was it like Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend? We did the Murph. I was in tears. It was so emotional. I cried. Was in tears because of just the community and the bond. Yeah. And it was my first Murph, and it was amazing. I loved it. And I think even more so than just the fitness aspect of that, the community side is huge. But I want to, like, with my training, as I grow into that, I want to give back to, like, either the moms who have lost themselves in the process of being a mom and through postpartum, and you don't feel comfortable in your own body, or the addict who's never taken care of their body and is navigating, like, how to be healthy, and you have no knowledge on any of it. I'm slowly going to get some peptide training and some classes on peptides. My husband is actually almost done. He's been burning the candle at both ends. That man is a saint, and getting EMT courses.
Is he still in the utility world?
He is a project manager
for
an iron company right now. And so both of us want to do training in fitness and coaching, and I want to have that freedom. I just can't emphasize enough what fitness has done for us. And people are like, oh yeah, you work out, like that's cool. Well, as an addict and an alcoholic, and I don't like labeling myself as that either, but I used to use drugs and I used to drink a lot. You need some kind of endorphin rush. It's almost like your brain is wired to need more boost of endorphins than normal people.
Absolutely.
And going to exercise keeps us sober. Going to exercise and get those endorphins that we need makes me a better wife, makes me a better mom, sets better examples for our children, right? And then I watch my husband. And there's something about watching your husband lift really heavy weights, and you're just like, fuck yeah, I've got an alpha male, right? Like, that's my husband. And like, don't know. I don't even know if he can fight. He'd maybe get his ass kicked. Who knows?
Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter.
He
Do you know how much he can deadlift? Yeah.
He looks good.
He looks
I'm
good.
turned on. We're great. So it doesn't even matter if he gets his ass kicked.
He sets that example.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do that too.
Well, on top of it, now you're dedicating and you see how hard you have to work toward it. So when somebody's like, hey, you want to go out tonight? You're like, fuck that.
I don't have time.
I don't have time. I don't want to put that in my body because I'm working so hard.
Yeah.
Dude, it'll change your whole entire life.
Weird. Like, there's only a few people that we like carve time out of our schedule to like go to dinner with, and even when we do, we're like, oh fuck, we gotta miss class, you know, shit, like that really sucks. And we've been so busy these last couple of weeks that we haven't really been making it like we prefer to. We usually, he's crazy and he'll go 6-7 days. I like 4 or 5 is kind of like my ideal. And we've been in the process of like building a gym in our garage too, which kind of helps on like the days we're super busy. At least get out there and get like a little pump. We've got a little pack and play for the baby. I take my daughter out there, trying to introduce our kids into weight training, you know, because that's something nobody talks about is how detrimental it is for kids who play sports and teens not to weight lift. Or how about let's talk about women's hormones and how much it helps us balance our hormones from resistance training. Mm-hmm. And okay, so your hormones are out of whack because you've done drugs all these years. And then you've got alcohol. Okay, well then that really messes with your system. And then you eat like shit. So when I quit drinking, my addiction was sugar. I still have an addiction to sugar. It is the hardest thing for me to say no to sugar.
Sugar's terrifying. And we are so uneducated on sugar in this country. This is why, dude, you just look at all these Olympians that came or the World Cup for the soccer.
Oh, yeah.
These people are mind blown. They're like, what is this? Like, what are you people eating here? All these foreign countries are coming here like, what is this garbage?
It's crap.
People have no idea that sugar is literally a narcotic.
Absolutely.
And we're giving it to our children for breakfast. We send these young boys off to school to be sitting in a classroom all day, and then they can't act right because they have zero nutrition, full of sugar. They crash, but this kid's got ADD or ADHD.
But they need to be on meds.
Yeah. But instead, this kid just needs to run his ass off. And then it's just this cycle. And we were kind of talking about before we even started with the sugar thing. People are giving it to their babies in the baby food immediately. They give them the applesauce and all this stuff that has sugars in it. Your infant that just got off the bottle or the nipple, the first soft foods they're being introduced to or have sugar in them.
Yeah, read your labels.
And these moms will listen and be like, no one's ever told me this.
My son's daycare, I'm weird and we do meal prep every Sunday and I'll make my son little meal preps to take to daycare.
Which is so easy
They think, it's just like a spoonful of like ground beef and some sweet potatoes or something. It's super easy. Yeah. And every once in a while I'll throw in like a boiled egg or like the little mandarin oranges or a banana or something. And it was funny because at first they were kind of, and he still breastfeeds also. And we're at about 10 and a half months.
Do it as long as you can.
I know.
It's a healthy.
It's frustrating, but it's so worth it. And I have had my up and down. That's a whole nother like battle as a woman is trying to like be yourself and also pour into your child constantly. And especially physically when you're trying to take care of yourself physically, you know, you want to look a certain way. You want to stay healthy.
That'll all come.
It will. It will eventually. And
it's just now you're like, I want to get back on track.
I got these goals. And then your child constantly needs your body. Yep. Or even, you know, with your husband. It's like we have a 10-month-old that sleeps in our bed every night. And it's like, well, fuck, right now. Hey, roommate. Nice to see you. Like, love you. Don't forget I love you.
That's really important though. Don't, you know, even though the kid, that's those intimate times, that is a huge word, but that's always the first thing that gets pushed to the side.
Absolutely.
We don't have time. It's late.
I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
I'm not feeling good. I was up all night.
It happens.
And then before you know it, that gap gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And, you know, as a wife, I will say, because I struggle with this because I'm like, man, I'm constantly giving myself and my body to someone. Everybody else. And so when it comes to being intimate with your husband, it's like, fuck. You know, you kind of get in that like moment. You're like, dude, the baby's been on my titty all day. The last thing I want to do is go be physical with my husband. And sometimes you have to find a moment where, like, if it's like a Saturday or something, we get home from the gym and I'm like, hey, the baby's sleeping in his car seat.
Let's go.
And I'll look at him. I'm like, you got like 5 minutes. You better get your ass upstairs and like get it in when you can. Sorry. I'm like,
you have no idea who my wife and I are. I'll be like, hey, take little sis for a drive.
Yeah. And my daughter's now getting to the age where she's like, you guys are disgusting. And I'm like,
fight all day.
I hope you like know about this. And not in like a weird way, right? I'm not like going into detail with my kid about my sex life with my husband, but you want your kids to know that you're intimate and you sometimes you just got to find those moments.
Oh, for sure.
And you just got to do it.
It's so important though.
Yeah.
We have the box fan. We have the box fan in the house.
I know what that means. And you know what that means. Yes.
Just a random fan in the hallway.
So great.
Dude,
the TV.
It's the loudest.
Yeah, the TV's on upstairs and the door's shut. Yeah.
Ours is the box fan.
Or she'll text me. Hey, Mom.
But that's so important, though. That's where these marriages are like, well, I don't know where it went wrong. It was right after we had a kid. Then it's like, that's where it starts.
It is, and it's hard. And I will attribute to every female out there because your hormones aren't fully back. No. Right? And so you don't always have like the want to. And it's awkward at first, right? It's almost like you're like teenagers learning to have sex again.
Well, and then your body just changed. There's all these major insecurities.
You're leaking milk or some weird shit. You're like,
nipple's not normally this color. Dude, I swear. You're like, I didn't even notice.
He's like, I don't even care. That is the last thing I'm thinking about right now.
Your nipple's darker out.
He does not care.
Yeah.
You just gotta, and sometimes I hate how crass this sounds because I had even listened to some like other women when I was like really first going through postpartum and they're like, do it when you don't want to. Go have sex with him even when you don't want to. And I was like, ew, like why would you do that? But sometimes I have to remind myself, I'm like, Nicole, it's been a couple weeks. Like you need to go. We've gotten busy. The baby's been crying. Like we're barely seeing each other because we're both so busy. So, hey, he gets home. Me and the baby are already asleep. And I'm like, I love you. Yeah, and then he's gone before I even wake up, and you get in those moments.
That's the rhythm.
And it's detrimental to your marriage and then your kids, right? Because then you're pissy with each other. You're not on the same page. You don't even have time to sit down and go over your goals because you're just going through life so fast. And sometimes just that like really quick physical connection is like, okay, that'll at least get us through another week of like, fuck, we're in a busy season right now. And that's okay. We'll get there. And again, being addicts and like we both come from childhoods where maybe we weren't getting that love and attention as much as we needed. And so then you grow into adults and in a marriage, you're supposed to be getting that anyways from each other. But even more so if you've been through things in your life and your past where like you need that connection. And my husband, I'm going to like really throw him under the bus right now. He is way more touchy-feeling than I am. And sometimes just like, fuck, stop, like go away. Like get off of me, get out of my bubble, right? And then I realized like, oh my gosh.
That's his love language.
Like that's what he needs. Yeah. Or like this morning, he knew I was super rushed, like trying to get out of the house. And he's like doing the dishes. And I was like, oh, I love you so much. Like, thank you. Because that's my love language. Right. And then like your woman feels calmer. He gets what he needs. And the kids see it. Because then it trickles down to your children.
And then everything balances.
Out. And
that's another thing is love languages. Dudes, people go through the whole life, don't even know what their spouse's love language is. Words of affirmation, gifts, affection.
Yes.
I'm one of those. I'm not a toucher. Yeah. I am now because my oldest, dude, she just clings and needs.
I have a baby like that. Yeah.
So I've become very, that was her, never changed. And my wife's the same way. My youngest is like at that age, but she just needs that coddling. Yes. But me, I need to be touched. And my wife, she'll pick up on it when I'm irritable and I start not peaking as far as anger wise, but I'll start getting irritable and she'll be like,
yeah.
Okay,
hey,
let's go.
Come here.
You need physical, dude. Even if it's just getting naked and just letting her lay, it's that skin to skin.
Yes, yeah.
It like decompresses me. She's like, okay, you're good.
Yeah,
like, we're good.
I also notice even with fitness and working out and those endorphins is sometimes I'll look at my husband. I'm like, you need to go to the fucking gym. Like, go.
Yep.
Because sometimes men, and I need it too. He can tell when he's like, hey, you need to go like get a pump real quick or something, because you just get wound so tight, and then you're just, you're like on edge. And when you eat like shit, man,
You feel like shit.
you feel like shit. And that's the other, I think that's a huge like endorphin downer. It can cause a lot of problems, I think, with your hormones and your sex life also, is like if you're not eating properly. Oh my gosh. And my husband, and I'm sitting here and I am guilty as hell. Life gets busy and dude, I just crave sugar. Like I'm dealing with, my dad's in a home right now and he's not doing so great. And so I went by to see him yesterday and I went home and ate half a bag of milk and chocolate chip cookies. And they're like sitting there eating chocolate chip cookies, crying, because I'm like, that's my way of processing sometimes. And then I wake up this morning and I looked at that bag and I was like, why the fuck did I do that? I should have went out in the garage and I should have went and like worked through those emotions.
Does it almost feel like you relapse in a way? Do you get that disappointment in yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime I eat trash and I'm like, fuck, why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this?
Why? Was it worth it? It's never worth it.
It's never worth it. No. And it's almost more frustrating because it's like, dude, if you can kick heroin and meth and all these other things, I quit smoking. Oh my gosh, vapes, that's another one. Vapes, that is one of the hardest things to kick.
Especially if you had lung problems before.
Oh my gosh. And it's like, if you can kick all that, why is the food? Why is like food a last addiction for people? And it's something you notice in a lot of the AA, NA recovery. It's like, there's always cookies and donuts and coffee and people smoke cigarettes. And it's like, ew, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not healthy.
You're supposed to be getting your life clean, but you're just feeding bullshit into it at the same time. So you're depressed. Your hormones are fucked. Your testosterone, your estrogen, everything is
crap.
You're sleeping like shit.
You can't think properly.
This is where it's like we're in 2026.
Yeah.
We're in the era of knowledge. And you like these guys are
so much
you're
knowledge.
Going to an AA meeting to be clean, but then you're just feeding your body full of shit. Which
I also have an issue with those, and to each their own on their own path of recovery. Just a personal perspective on it. It's like, why are we sitting here wallowing in our bullshit?
That's a great thing you bring up, because I feel a lot of veterans do the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then we're still in these, and I'm not downplaying anybody's trauma and shit like that. But when we're still talking about these things that just happened 20 years ago,
what point do we move past it?
That's why I hate therapists. I'm a big anti. Yeah. I think a therapist, they just keep you in that mindset. Yeah. So you're just paying them $100 an hour to sit on the couch. Tell me more.
Oh,
what was it
like
at
your job? Feel?
Cool. It's cool to get some breakthroughs. Yeah, right.
How's that make you feel?
Well, I fucking feel like shit because it was whatever.
Well, no, I'm telling you, it was fucking horrendous. Yeah.
And it's the same thing though, and they keep you in these mindsets. You're like, I had a breakthrough and I discovered this, and then
did you?
Yeah. Exactly. Or did your therapist just plant that in your head? But that's the same thing. Yeah. It's like you live in this world, and that's where it's like, okay, horrible traumatic time.
Yeah.
Woe is me. New chapter.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's about me.
Yep.
Now I'm going to find an identity. I'm going to find a purpose, and that's what I'm going to focus on. But that's the chapter of my life that's behind me. And the same with addicts, athletes, cops, law enforcement, all these people that something consumes their life for a short or long period of time. That becomes their identity. Yeah. So a lot of these addicts, I'm an addict. I'm an addict.
I'm an addict.
I'm an addict.
But, you go to those meetings, you sit there, hey, I'm Nikki, I'm an addict. Like, ew, no, like I said earlier, your
whole life?
I am so tired of sitting here being like, oh, I'm an addict. Oh, I'm an alcoholic. No, the fuck I'm not. No, I'm not.
I'm Nikki.
If you ask me right now, I'm not an addict. Did I go through addiction? Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the mindset.
Yeah, I went through a time in my life where I was an alcoholic. I was an addict.
See, imagine if you were, I don't want to say manifesting, but you're speaking words, right?
Powerful.
But every time you stand up, hi, I'm Bam, I'm an addict of X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Instead of standing up and going, hey, I'm Bam, I used to be addicted to these things and now I'm free.
Yeah.
That's what but they're not telling themselves that.
Use that power. God gave it to you for a reason.
To just speak those words of affirmation into yourself and out into existence. So you're hearing yourself saying, and I'm sure I've never been through an AA program and I'm sure there's tons of different steps, but that's what you always see. But then when I see, oh man, I've been clean for X amount of years. That's a great accomplishment. But that's what you're leading conversations with. Man, I was an addict for 15 years. Been sober X amount. That's a great accomplishment. What are you doing now?
Yes. So, and I'm not
downplaying not, because those year milestones are incredible. I got buddies that, dude, they every time, dude, I'm so sober, and I try to church, and I'm putting so much life into them.
Yeah.
But they've also gone so far in their recovery, like they're not an addict anymore. They're fathers, they're business owners,
You're
they're
so
husbands.
much more than that. I remember a conversation with my PO, and it was around the time I wanted to like kick the methadone and stuff. And I have goals since I've gotten clean that I want to achieve. And I remember telling him, and I was like, my goal in sobriety isn't just to be sober.
To thrive.
It wasn't just to get clean and be like, okay, we're done. No, I want to be a business owner. I want to mentor teens. I want to do this. I want a family. I want a husband. I want to be healthy. I want, all these things. I was like, that's my goals. But there's a lot of people that go through addiction and they're so sick. That might sound bad. I don't know if they're simple-minded. And there's a lot of people out there that are good with just, they made it, right? They work a regular job. They got their little family. They got their little house. And God bless them.
They're happy with that.
They're happy with that. And that's fantastic. I got clean and I was like, fuck, there's so much more out there.
Mm-hmm. This is what the world's like.
Holy shit, there's so much more out there. I also just recently had kind of like a revelation in that. And my husband, I had never been to Southern California and we went on a trip. That was another thing. It's like, I've been so locked into this area of Idaho for so many years.
Time to spread the wings.
There is so much more life out there. Mm-hmm. There's so much more life out there. I was just like, oh my gosh. I am so deprived of any kind of culture outside of Nampa, Idaho.
Yeah.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
There's so much more out there. And growing up how I did and in those environments and in this area, and this is all there was. This was the whole world to me. That's
why I am such a huge advocate on getting out of your hometown.
Yeah.
You have to.
Oh, yeah.
You have to. Because it's and you kind of, I know you're kind of saying the simple-minded people. That's just
it's
people,
different.
Right? I have a buddy that we were in the Corps together, did a lot of time together. And, anyways, we were having a conversation. And he's like, dude, I'd really like some help on mentorship on starting a business. I'm like, fuck, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is where I thrive. I'm like, hey, what do we want to do when we want to start it? He's like, well, when I retire. And I'm like, well, when do you retire? And he's doing the math and he's like, okay, well, if I want my 90, whatever, how they do the rating, he's like, I'll be able to retire when I'm 57. And then I want to start it then. And in my mind, I'm like, why? What the fuck are you waiting for? He's like,
why?
Well, I have a job now. I'm like, dude.
So
and in my mind, I'm like, well, okay, you have a job. What does that have to do with anything? You want to start a side hustle, start it. But just the way people are wired, they think you have to do this 9 to 5, get ready to retire, then start. I met with a guy in my community yesterday. We met for lunch, and he's retiring in 7 years, and he's like, I want to start now, or he's like, I want to start so I have something when I retire I can roll into. I'm like, dude, you have 7 years. It's going to take 3 to 5 years minimum to get a business
to
going.
get up and going. Yeah.
Then you have a couple of years rolling. And then when you retire, you might have a full-fledged business that you retire and walk right in. He's like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. But just that mindset, but that's just the mindset of people. They have no problem going to work, working for somebody for 30, 40, 50 years of their life, sacrificing it for somebody else, retire. If you're lucky, 12 to 15 years before your health gives out, then you die.
Yeah.
That's the difference between an entrepreneur and just a worker bee.
It's depressing.
Yeah, and no matter what you do to those people, dude, start this, file this, apply here, get this, and they're just like, no, it's too much. I can't do it. I'd rather just check in, punch my time card, ask for time off, and I'm just.
And that's great. Well, but
I'm the opposite. I look at
people happy.
Yeah, and that's them.
Yeah,
and I used to be that person, be like, bro, how do you not want to grow yourself? How do you not want to do this?
Yeah.
But I just had to realize that's it. People are wired differently.
Yes,
that's just how it is.
They are. And my husband and I are kind of in that interesting area right now where navigating even friendships and stuff where like people, if they don't line up with us,
got them.
You know, it's like, hey, you know, I love you, but we're not on the same path.
Get rid of them all.
Yeah. And we want to surround ourselves. We tell our kids this all the time. My daughter is like really getting to this point where she's going into middle school this year. And we had a rough couple of years. We lived on like the north side of Nampa, and she was in a really crappy school, and we went through some shit, and she just was getting in trouble, and it was just really crappy. And then we've moved to the other side of town. She's in a good school. She's done great. She plays sports, you know. And I've also noticed, like, as we've set these examples and we've changed our lifestyle, she has just followed suit.
Yep.
I don't have to tell her. Mm-mm. She just followed.
It's just life.
It just happened. And so we've also been explaining to her, because she's like, oh, I never see so-and-so anymore. You don't hang out with so-and-so anymore. And I was like, remember how you'd get in trouble all the time when you hung out with these kids at that old school? And I would tell you that the environment and the people you choose to be in your life will impact who you are. You're going to act like everybody else around you. Mm-hmm. And so you want to surround yourself. And she made a comment not too long ago to me and my husband. She goes, yeah, but like all of your guys' friends have like nicer houses than us. And I was like, yeah, that's for a reason.
Story of my life.
I said, and we would like them to continue to have nicer houses than us, because that means we're surrounding ourselves with people who are doing better than us. And that's the whole point. Like, I don't want to go hang out with somebody who's living in the hood. Mm-mm. Like, that's not the point, because what are they doing for me? That sounds really selfish.
It's not at all. No, absolutely not. If somebody heard that and thought that was selfish, that they're the poor people living and surrounding themselves with that life.
Yeah.
That's why I've talked about it before, and I get shit about it. I don't associate myself with most vets.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. I don't hang out with addicts.
It's like cops. So you hear
like, I don't want to go hang out with somebody who used to. I mean, like my husband used to use, and there's a lot of people who are doing great and entrepreneurs and doing really good in the community and giving back. And I think that's amazing, you know, when you come together for things like that.
Absolutely.
But like, I don't want to hang out with just people that I used to be locked up with just because we're homies. Mm-mm. Like, no, that sounds fucking miserable.
Cut all those people out.
Yeah.
Get rid of them all.
And like, do they even do, like, are they into fitness? Do they care about their health? Like, what's their nutrition like? What's their daily routine? Are they trying to build a business?
I don't even look at it like that. If they're not feeding me, intimate with me, paying me, or bringing anything spiritually to my life,
what
mentorship,
what good use are you? Yeah.
Because as you start to grow, but it's the most realistic shit.
I know. It sounds selfish.
It is selfish.
But it's okay to be selfish.
It's my life. Yeah. I have one shot at this motherfucker. I'm going to waste it on other people?
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to you every time we link up. You're going to be bitching about something. Every time I call, there's something wrong or there's drama.
We have some people like that.
Get rid of them. I mean, we have our own personal drama in our life.
Oh, that's
But as far as other people and ever being involved in drama,
nothing.
Zero. And if people try to, snip, gone, later. Yeah. I don't care.
Oh, yeah, easy.
I have buddies, my wife's like, I haven't started so-and-so. And I'm like, yeah, not for me anymore.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Why? Everything was negative.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's negative. Why do I want somebody negative?
Yeah.
I want a homie to come over and be like, dude, this is what I'm growing. Yeah. Hey, I want you involved. How do I get you involved? Yeah. Hey, do you know somebody that I could connect?
We have this couple that we're friends with, and every time we go to dinner with them, I tell my husband, I'm like, man, they're so fucking encouraging. Yep. They're a little bit older than we are, not by much. So they're in their like late 30s, early 40s. They've built businesses. They've got a beautiful marriage, a strong faith. They're doing well. And anytime my husband and I like bring something to the table to them about like, hey, you know, we have this goal and we really want to do this, or we have this goal and we want to do this, they're like, fuck yeah, here, let me show you how to do that. Yeah. Hey, here's an idea. Yeah.
Do it this way. Hey, I failed here. Maybe this might work for you.
Oh my gosh. And it's so refreshing, because it's like, fuck, dude, these other people, and especially ever since I've been trying to grow my social media presence, I will stand by. Your biggest haters will be the people closest to you.
Your best friends.
Your fucking best friend.
Best friends.
Your family are like, oh my God, all I ever see is your reels pull up on my feed. It's getting kind of fucking annoying. I'm like,
gone.
Fucking delete me. I don't care.
People say that shit constantly, and you don't realize it until you either... The fastest way to find out who your biggest haters are, post something about your fitness, Fastest way to have your friends will become your haters, start a business.
Oh my gosh. It's insanity.
I see, now that Instagram shows you like your followers and your boys and what they like. You're liking this chick's butthole pictures on Instagram, but you haven't supported one of my things that I put out.
You won't share my posts?
Never comment anymore.
You'll share some random person's reel that resonates with you, but why aren't you sharing my reels?
This fishing thought with her tits and ass hanging out on the back of the boat holding a fish, you liked, comment, and reshared on it.
Yep. Yeah, but you can't support me? Why
That's
not?
not a friend. Fuck you.
Yeah, why not? Why can't you like every single time my reel pops up? Why don't you just hit that like button and help me out?
But guess who does? Some
random fucking strangers.
You've never met before. Your biggest supporters.
Yeah, some chick in California, dude, that girl comments on all my shit on TikTok. Supports the fuck out of me. Is probably my biggest follower.
No idea who they are.
No clue, but she's super cool.
I talk all the time. My parents have never ordered a loaf of bread for my daughter, from their grandkid.
Crazy.
From their own grandchild, my parents have never ordered a loaf of bread. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't need you in my life. You're not.
Dude.
Why do I need you? You're not supporting me.
Family's a big one.
Oh, I loved cutting.
I
that was the
love my family, and we've gotten closer over the years. But you kind of learn that your family has like certain compartments. In
shelves.
Your life. Yeah.
We break everything on shelves.
Yeah.
This one thing. Everybody like has a shelf.
Yeah.
You got your top shelf connoisseur friends, family. Then you got your bottom shelf people.
Yeah.
And people move shelves.
Yeah.
But you want to burn me?
Yeah.
Bloop. Oh, hey, this guy came out of nowhere and is offering, wants to help and do.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Shelves. Everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they talked a little negative and I see this. Oh, okay. Bottom, then lower shelf. Oh, it's still continuing. Another shelf. And they hit the bottom shelf. Out of my life.
I've also noticed, especially as like a female, a lot of women like to gossip. And so it's interesting when you're not sitting there just being catty all the time anymore. I've kind of grown as a female, and especially as my daughter's gotten older, she has taught me so many lessons. Because I watch her pick up everything I do.
Yo, they're watching everything.
And I sit there and I'm like, ew, I can't remember where I seen this or heard this or read it or whatnot, but they go, if your child is doing something that you don't like, look at yourself. And I was like, oh, fuck. And so I noticed, I was like, oh, I don't like when my daughter listens to music like that. Or,
but who's showing her?
I don't like when my daughter dresses like that. Or, ew, I don't like when she talks about people like that. Or she's being this kind of friend. And then I was like, oh, well, this is why she fucking does it.
Time to look in the mirror.
Yeah. And then people are like, oh, well, you're just too good now because, you work out, or, it's okay to not have to eat like that all the time. I love that one. People are like, you don't always have to eat healthy. Like, it's okay to eat like what you want.
But that's not even eating. Oh, what diet are you on? I'm not on a diet.
I'm not on a diet.
I just eat healthy. That's not.
Yeah.
That's
it's okay to skip the gym. You don't have to go to the gym every day.
That just shows you where our society, we've been pushed that now because I'm eating healthy, that's a diet. Exercise is something looked down upon.
Why is that something that makes you like weird? Why is it that in society it's so normalized to just be a fat, lazy fucking slob? And like, that's okay. Or be an alcoholic.
Because if we were all running around here, eating clean, moving our bodies, I'm not even saying the gym, moving our bodies, encouraging our children to do tough things.
Stay active.
Then they couldn't make the money they're making off of us of being fat, dumb, and lazy. That's all it comes down to.
Sad.
That is all it comes down to. The more fat, overweight, unhealthy, undisciplined, lazy you are, you depend on everything around you.
Everything.
When you're growing your own food or you're eating healthy, you're working out and you're not in the doctors because you're taking care of your body, your hormones and everything are in check.
Yeah.
You don't need to depend on the government. The more we depend on them, the more they own us. And that's the whole goal of this. And people are like, oh man, you're posting fit pics. Oh, it must be. It's like, dude, you're
yeah.
Look what your kids are looking at you. So you're going to talk down on
mad
me.
At me. Yeah.
You're talking down on me for cleaning my life up, for getting in shape, setting an example for my family that my wife and my oldest daughter are now going to the gym.
Yes.
But you're going to be the dad, the better version of the dad's coming home. Your kid's grabbing a beer out of the fridge for you and you sit there and crack it and play Xbox and scroll on your phone all day.
Have you seen it's a a post on social media that has gone around a little bit, and it looks like there was like a flood or something, and the dad's in the background like carrying these bags, and there's like a firefighter carrying the wife and child. Have you seen that one? Or something like that.
Maybe.
So my husband's seen it, and it was just funny. He goes, I'll never fucking be that dad. I'll never fucking be that dad. And that's part of like why we love CrossFit so much. And there's a lot of, I love when we have partner workouts together, and my husband and I partner up, and we just have like to endure and struggle together. Mm-hmm. And this last one we did last week, it was 5 rounds, and man, we were having to do 100-meter runs out in like 100-degree weather, and it was smoky. Mm-hmm. And we're pushing the stroller, and he's pushing the stroller. We're carrying sandbags, and I'm trying to film. Okay. And we're just like dying. And I looked at him and I said, survival of the fucking fittest, baby. And I made a reel, and I said, I know who I want on my team when shit goes fucking crazy.
Imagine being a father and you can't scoop your wife or children up and run 100 yards.
Yeah.
You want to know if you're a fat, lazy piece of shit, out of shape dad?
Yeah.
Go grab your kid and sprint 100 yards with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine if there was a shooter
If
somewhere.
someone's chasing you, if something is going down, world goes crazy, worst case scenario, or say there's been shootings like crazy around this area.
I'm not even talking end of the world, zombies chasing you like we always want to go to. Imagine you're out at the village and some shooting happens.
There was one a few years ago, right there at I was by the Texas Roadhouse. Yeah. There was a shooting in the parking lot, and it's like, can you grab your kids
and run
and get out of there?
I did a thing where I put every kid on and my wife on my back. And they're like, you can't hold us all. I'm like, what? Bet.
Yeah.
I'll run with your
My
asses.
daughter is 5 foot and about probably 120, 125 pounds. She's a pretty thick girl. And she will always bet me, like, you can't squat me. I'll throw that little girl over my shoulders and squat her.
See, they need to know too. The moms
you need to know.
But this goes for moms too, not just dad. I talk about dad's point of view, but like, if my wife can't grab the supplies and
why
you can't grab a stroller?
We see that a lot with like in public, and that's a little judgmental. I'll look at my husband. I'm like, that guy's really jacked, and his wife is like really out of shape. And my husband like physically looks in shape. And so that's another thing going through postpartum is I'm like, man, I'm like the fat wife next to my husband. You know, I'm like, fucking people probably look at me like, that bitch don't even go to the gym, and look at him like he's like jacked. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. I go to the gym all the time. I'm just getting back, right? But you go in public and you're like, and then I wonder, okay, those are two very different lifestyles. So how do you coexist if he looks like that and she looks like that? And why? Why would you be okay with your partner
unhealthy?
Why are you okay with your partner being overweight and out of shape, and you're obviously taking care of your body to some extent, right? You physically look like you're in shape. Okay, why is your wife not? Why are your kids not? And how sad
Do not get
and depressing. Oh, yeah.
We went to Roaring Springs the other day.
Fat kids.
Not even just fat kids. Just morbidly obese.
Yeah.
You have 10, 12, 13-year-old boys with full tits on them, jiggling. They have to wear shirts because they're so insecure.
Yep, because they're
you as a father or a mother, you're going to look, and you can't realize your child.
And you're going to keep giving him the crap. Do they play sports? Are they active? What do they do all summer long?
Just walking.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you do?
That's child abuse.
Absolutely.
But meanwhile, if I force my kid, we're going to go on a run. People will give you shit.
Yeah.
But I could feed them all this garbage where they're morbidly obese, so they have visceral fat around their organs. I'm not talking some little kid pre-puberty. It's got the little pound. I'm not talking that shit. That's all normal. I don't need kids with 6-packs walking around. That's not the shade I'm throwing. But when you have a morbidly obese child that is under the age of 15 or over, it doesn't even matter, but these young children, you're starting their life off.
Oh my gosh.
In this horrible critically we want to look at all the images of all these people and celebrities and beauty and all this lies that our children are being fed, and you're going to start them off with these horrible insecurities in these schools, and these kids are being bullied over everything. Then he's being bullied for his overweight. The motherfucker's 200 pounds and 12 years old.
And you started it.
It's your fault.
It is your fucking
fault. And then
fault.
these parents, they'll have every excuse. And it's so sad to me. It is. And it's not the kid's fault. We always want to look at this kid. Look at this kid.
Well, look at the parents. You always.
Well, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. No, it's not. You mean to tell me that junk food's cheap?
It is cheap. It is cheap, but it's like, it's cheap, but it's at the same time, I've learned as we've grown on our nutrition journey, and I still have like the one thing, man, I'm really bad. I always have a bag of crap cereal in our house. Fuck. It's like I can't cut.
I think that's what might be one of ours. It's always like a random cereal. Like, nobody ever eats it either. But I think that's a childhood nostalgia, like Captain Crunch. Or I
gotta like get a bowl of like Cinnamon Toast Crunch in the middle of the night or something. Oh, so dumb. But it's like Cheerios. I look at this stuff and I go, okay, well, when you eat whole foods throughout your day, your body doesn't need as much. Like my husband, we meal prep and he makes like 2 lunches. He eats 2. That man has to have intake so many calories. But that's because he's trying to like right. But just maintaining like your normal caloric intake that your body needs for fuel, you don't even need as much as you're eating in this trash.
No.
So if you're giving your body the whole do you know who Gary Brecka is? Mm-hmm. Oh, I love how he talks about your body. If whatever ailment you have that's going wrong, you're just missing something, that a God-given nutrition
100%.
Is it.
100%.
Yes. And it's like, okay, you can get that. My mom came over the other night and I was talking about how I got some nitric oxide vitamins for my husband, some supplements for him to start taking. And she goes, yeah, I know. I'm back on my blood pressure medicine. I have all of these. I have a bunch of those vitamins. I'll bring them over for you. And I said, you should be fucking taking them. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Why are you on your blood pressure med? You know better. You know
what's crazy about the full eating what we need?
Yeah.
Our little one, she got in a little habit. She just grazed all day. Just grazing. Like that. Grazing. My wife's like, we're going to switch this up. And she would just feed
full whole meals.
Full whole meal for breakfast. Or depending on the time when they get up.
Breakfast is a big topic.
So we're late wakers because we're night owls. So when I say breakfast, it's usually like a lunch, once like we're up and running. Late brunch. But it was whole foods, great carbs.
Yes.
And guess who didn't come in the house throughout the day wanting to graze? And then my wife points it out to her. Hey, did you notice you didn't snack the last few days? She's like, yeah, actually, whole foods.
This is why.
Good carbs, good proteins. And then that carries your energy. It carries you being full throughout the day. So your kid's not in the pantry 5 or 6 times before lunch, before dinner. And then they're just eating shit because they're not fulfilled. Their bodies aren't fulfilled with the proper carbs, nutrients, all the bullshit that we got to eat all day. It doesn't come in the box of freaking Fruit Loops. And
it doesn't. No. My daughter, because we were having that conversation earlier, I really messed up when she was younger about, I didn't know any better. And so I just gave her crap food all the time. Yeah. And so now we're trying to break that habit. And she's like a preteen and she plays competitive sports. And it's like, honey, she'll come home, she'll be like, I have a headache. I don't feel good. Okay, what'd you eat today? I don't know. I had like some cereal and like a bagel. I'm like, okay, well, no shit, you don't feel good. Have you drank any electrolytes? Well, I had some just water. No, you need fucking electrolytes. Just water isn't going to give you enough of what you need, right? And I'm like, protein. Did you have any protein? No, I don't know. I'm like,
and that's such a
this is why you don't feel good. Yep. You know, and like that goes for everyone.
But most parents aren't going to process that and they'll be like, well, here, just take this. Here's some Advil.
Yeah, she'll be like, well, can I just take some ibuprofen? Because I just take ibuprofen at my dad's house. And I'm like, no, you can't just fucking have some ibuprofen. Go have some electrolytes. Go eat some food. Go take a nap. Turn your TV off or something. I don't know. Like, go outside. I'm noticing with our infant, he has a tendency, he is a big mama's boy, and he will get just worked up. Like if I'm not holding him and he wants me and his just emotions run, and we'll take him outside and just let him just sit there outside and let him regulate. And it's huge. Like, just let him regulate.
You ever seen them Scandinavian videos or whatever where the women wrap their babies up? It's
and put them out in the little...
outside. Yeah. It's like 20 degrees out, negative 20, and they put a little plastic... Then they'll stick their babies outside.
Best sleep those babies probably have ever had.
Just vitamin D.
Yeah. So good for them.
All right. Last question.
Okay. You're making me nervous on this one.
No, God, no. We've made it through the gauntlet. We're in the clear now. If you want the world to know one thing about you, what would it be?
Oh, man. I tell my story, and I am very vulnerable with my story because I want to share how dark and nitty gritty my addiction was, because I know there's other people in those places, regardless of what your addiction is or what you're going through in life, or, you know, it doesn't have to be drugs necessarily. I just want to show people that there is always hope. God always has a plan. And sometimes you don't see it. And sometimes you can get so lost also in your own plan. And he knows what he's doing. And you can always come back from it. Like, it doesn't matter how far gone you are, how far lost you are. It doesn't matter what the fuck people say about you. You can be trash, man. Nobody fucking respect you. You can always come back and change your life.
I love that.
Always. Yeah.
I love that.
God's good.
God is great.
God is good all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
I love it. I love this. Well, thank you so much for this conversation. I thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story with me. This is great. I want to be able to help you and your husband. We've been in the apparel world for many, many years. So if you guys have any questions, I'd love to be able to help you however we can do it along the way. It's kind of where we...
about who you know, not what you know, right?
Everything is networking. And so, if there's any questions as far as starting up, that's where my wife and I kind of thrive, is helping smaller business. We've done it so many times for massive companies and also for ourselves. So we almost have the template of how to get, and it's terrifying. We've been through it dozens of times.
We're
and so
we don't really know what we're doing.
And that's a really common thing. And so a lot of people kind of get frustrated and fail there. But so if you guys have any questions at any point, I'm going to open that up for you anytime. Just let us know.
I appreciate that.
And also, if anybody's listening, made it to this part of the episode, make sure you like, subscribe. We're going to, how do we get a hold of you? How do people find you on your fitness journey? And
Nikki Dukes. On Instagram and Facebook, and then I believe my TikTok is Nikki Duke and Fam.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll make sure to get all that tagged for you. But make sure to like, subscribe. We appreciate all the support. We have incredible supporters and listeners and followers every single week that tune into you all and hear the most wild chaos shit we've ever heard in our lives. And somehow people are able to relate to it. And most of these stories find God along the way. And it's a really cool thing to be able to sit here and have a conversation and
thanks for having
share
me.
someone's story. Thank you again. I appreciate you. Yes. Thank you so much. This was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was everything.
That was a good one.
That was fantastic.
Thanks for letting me share my story.